need that. Take it away, boys. Take me on home to the asylum. Never alone in the asylum. Anarchy ruled, it was wild, but through it all you never smiled. Joke's on you, I'm in your head, so look who's laughing now. Remember in Arkham City, I killed your girl, so pretty. That was the night you let me die. But when I looked you in the eye, that's when I knew we'd be together. Look who's laughing now. I'm stuck in your head and I'm laughing. Ha! I feel you with dread and I can't stop laughing. Your parents are dead and I can't stop laughing. What else can I do? Now I'm part of you. I am the clown, prince of crime. And we've had a hell of a time. You're part of me, I'm part of you. And now there's nothing left to do. I just can't wait till I'm in control. Who'll be laughing then? I drove you round the bend and I'm laughing. I'm with you till the end and I can't stop laughing. I killed all your friends and I can't stop laughing. Oh yeah, I think I can taste your fear. Now that my time is near, I'm in your blood, I'm so alive. I only wish you'd let me drive. It won't be long till I make you kill. Who'll be laughing then? Barbara's dead and I'm laughing. Ah! Jason Todd's dead and I can't stop laughing. I'm even dead and I can't stop laughing. What else can I do? Now I'm part of you. I drove you round the bend and I'm laughing. I'm with you till the end and I can't stop laughing. I killed all your friends and I can't stop laughing. I'm cock-a-doodle-doo. All because of you. I'm stuck in your head and I'm laughing. Ah, I fill you with dread and I can't stop laughing. Your parents are dead and I can't stop laughing. I'm stuck in your head and I'm laughing. I filled you with dread and I can't stop laughing. Your parents are dead and I can't stop laughing. What else can I do? Now I'm part of you. There's nothing like a comeback, is there, Matt? Let's go again.
Good morning, ladies and gents. How we doing? How the gosh darn heck are we? Sorry, I've got to go in and adjust all of these titles and descriptions because for some reason Restream keeps trying to relabel them as like live with Restream, even though nobody wants that. Like nobody cares, but it keeps trying to automatically redo it. And I'm not sure why. So we'll keep an eye on it, see if it switches itself automatically again. I mean, hopefully not. That would be annoying. But yeah, how is everybody? Everybody feeling good? I may or may not have accidentally spilled some margarita on my keyboard. And so now the space bar is a little sticky. So I might have to open that up and we'll wipe it down. Oh no, he's drunk again. Yeah, exactly. You got me. At 10 in the morning, I'm too far gone. It happened last night. I had it drying. I tried to wipe it down with like the Clorox wipes and stuff. And I hoped I had caught it before it got like really bad, but I think I've got to take the keys off. And what are you going to do? You live by the margarita, you die by the margarita. That's the rules. That's just how it works. You know, I knew this was a risk. I knew. But anyway, we're here. We're rocking and rolling. We're streaming on everything. So wherever you want to watch and hang out, come hang out and watch. We're glad to have you regardless. I am just going to be keeping an eye on it. So let me know again if weird things happen, if the title changes, if things shift about, let me know and we can try to tweak it and fix it in real time. Did I see the supposed new Naughty Dog leak? No, I did not. Is there an article on it? Tell me where the article was. Luke, you said GTA 6 trailer. Oh yeah, I made it. So I made a TikTok and YouTube short and I said, if we don't see a trailer by the end of the day today, I don't think we get a GTA 6 trailer until next year. That's my official stance. I did see some GTA 6 people were copying it and cutting out the part where I was like, I have no information. I'm just going off of my guesses of how this would work with their investor calls and all this. And they cut it out and they're just like, YouTuber Luke Stevens says GTA 6 is going to be revealed in like on Wednesday. It's like, God damn it, you guys, like you can't say anything. They're like actually a little unstable. Maybe not even a little, maybe a lot. But yeah, we'll see by the end of the day if they do something. What we do have happening today here in just a few minutes is something great, an actual reveal. The final trailer for the day before. So we're going to watch this. Who knows what that's going to look like, but they claim this is the final trailer where they're going to announce the Steam page going back up, which apparently needs an announcement. And then they're going to, after that, my understanding is you have to have a Steam page up for at least 2 weeks before you can sell the game and release it. So my understanding is that it's at least still 2 weeks away, which already puts them past their initial launch date. So who knows what will happen there? I have no idea. We'll see. Let's see. Chip Twitch, thank you also for the sub over on Twitch. Appreciate you, my friend. Much love. Game of this year for sure. Baldur's Gate 3 all day, every day. Let's see. Kingdom Hearts 4 in 10 years. I'll be real. A bunch of my friends, I lived in a college house with a bunch of friends and they were all super into Kingdom Hearts because they played it when they were kids. And then I tried playing it because I was peer pressured into it, having no exposure or experience with the series. And that was one of the most confusing games I've ever played in my life. I'm like, why is Mickey Mouse in a trench coat going like, we must defeat Xandor, otherwise the entire dimension will collapse. Oh, like it was so weird. You Kingdom Hearts fans are something else. I'll tell you what. Something else. Yeah, I don't know. You guys are crazy. You guys are actually mad crazy. Gray Fox, I want to thank you for extensive critiques of games. You're welcome, my friend. Thank you for watching. The only reason I get to make them is because you watch them. That's the big thing. Francis Ngannou outclassed Tyson Fury in a boxing match. Boxing is not a real sport. I mean, I think boxing should be, like, in the past it has been, but recently the, like, obsession with celebrity fights and then streamer and influencer fights has been bizarre. Like, did you guys see the Boogie fight? By the way, I watched the Boogie documentary. Boogie Wings fight. Oh my god, the space bar is so gunked up. It's bad, dude. Like the Wings fight, by the way, Keemstar said anybody can restream it and show it. So this is not copyright infringement or anything. They encourage people to do this. But yeah, this was the heaviest boxing match in history, apparently. A combined weight of close to 800 pounds. And I mean, what do you expect? It's two video game streamers well past their prime to begin with that decided to have a boxing fight. And like Wings is actually doing some combos. He's actually moving. Like Wings actually doesn't look that bad. Poor Boogie looks like he is just I mean, I don't even know what's happening. And then they spent like a solid 2 minutes delaying the fight because Boogie's pants were falling down. They couldn't get them to stay up. Like, you just can't make this stuff up. The whole thing is just so insane. But it was entertaining, and I guess that's the whole point of boxing, is to make it entertaining. But yeah, this was something else. I actually was surprised. Wings actually did some work, and there's a couple of these combos where I'm like, oh, Boogie felt that. Watch this one. He throws a left. Wait for it. It's this one, I think. Yeah, that one sent him. Oh, and then the right. Oh, he's on another planet there. He had to tape his pants up, dude. I feel, it's, you know what? They got paid. They made some cash money. So who can be that upset about it? What shocks me though, and I'm not, okay, this sound makes me sound like an actual prick. Okay. The jiggle physics is crazy. Calm down, unknown. Jesus Christ. Yeah, next time they release like a boxing game, you're like, but are the jiggle physics properly balanced? So again, there's no way to say this without coming off as like a first world prick. So I'm just going to say it with that prefaced, and feel free to be like, shut up, Luke. They only got paid like 10K for that fight. After taxes, I think it was about 7. And they had to pay for their own flights and accommodations. Like, the flights alone are probably $1,500 to $2,000. The hotel is probably, I mean, they had to be there for a handful of days. They probably spent $1,000 on hotels or stays. Not to mention food for these guys. Food's probably hundreds of dollars. All told, they probably did all this for like maybe $2,000. Like, maybe? Is that not like ridiculous? I think that's ridiculous. I think that's really bad. But apparently, like, they still did it because they thought that they were going to pocket the cash. But these guys basically did this fight for a wash. According to that newest documentary that they just did on Boogie yesterday, which was actually really good. You should go watch it if you have not. Just look up Boogie 2988 documentary. It just came out. It's very, very well done. It's not really a pity party. It's just like an honest analysis of him, the good and the bad. And it was well done. But yeah, it's apparently for Boogie, it looks like he might have even lost money doing the fight. How is that? Like, how does that make any sense? You know, like, it boggles my mind, especially because apparently I think they said they sold 400,000 pay-per-view tickets to the event, which were what, like $40-$50 a piece? You know? Am I mad? That to me seems really, really low. But I don't know. 2K to get punched in the face. What? 2K to get punched in the face and kind of humiliated on a national stage, you know? It's just, what are you going to do? We need to talk about the quantum error game. Shake my head. Oh, yeah, I can add that to the list of stuff we got to do. James Norman, also, thank you for the membership. What's your favorite AC game and why is it Ghost of Tsushima? For real, mine is Brotherhood. Story, setting, and combat were all peak. For me, I think my bias always goes back to AC2, just because that's like the first Assassin's Creed game I really fell in love with. Every time I boot it up, there's just something deep in my soul that feels good. Like, it just feels at home. It takes me back to my childhood, and I fully acknowledge that that's personal bias, but man, yeah, I feel that's my bread and butter. So it grossed like 18 million and they pocketed 7K. Well, to be fair, I'm sure it's expensive to put up a boxing fight. Like, they had to freaking like rent out this stadium in London. And I mean, somebody else would know. Were they the like headliners? I thought they were. If they were the headline fight and they only made 7K or 10K, whatever the initial gross payment was, that's ridiculous. I mean, they got screwed hardcore. But because what I would do is if we were going to do something like this, I'd say, no, I don't want a flat rate. You don't have to pay me up front any flat sum. I'll take a percentage of whatever we gross. So for one, I would make them pay for my flights because it's ridiculous that they didn't. But yeah, they didn't pay for their expenses. That's what's really particularly insane is that they didn't, like, they had to pay their own flights and hotel rooms and stuff. Like, I have like influencer events where like I'm going out to like a game studio or someplace like that. And it's customary for the publisher to pay all travel expenses, all food, to even give you a little per diem to go and buy some merch at the store, whatever you want to do. And these guys are the headliners of a boxing fight and they didn't get their flights covered. Like, they got screwed. And this is what like kind of bugged me about the boxing match. After the fact, we found out all of this. It was clear that this was like, Keem came to them and was like, hey, you guys are really desperate and really need money. Why don't you come and box and I'll give you 10 grand. And they're like, wow, 10 grand for me right now is huge. Let's do it. And then he didn't pay any of their travel. He didn't pay any of that stuff. Like, they got screwed, not realizing just how screwed over they were getting. I mean, it was crazy. In the recent documentary, Rango, they said that they had to pay out their flights. And maybe that's not true. But I think Wings has said that and Boogie have said both that they had to pay their own flights and travel and stuff. At least they got fame. Yeah, I mean, if it's fun. I don't know how fun this was for them. Maybe it was super fun. I don't know. But, oh my God, Pretty Eye. That's right. Better idea. Pay DSP to do a WWE match. Yeah, no, and then during the break, in between rounds, you take like the minute, and then in between rounds, he plays WWE Champions, and you have to do the quick, like, whatever Candy Crush like mobile game, and then you get back in the ring and you start boxing. You know, that could work. I will be dead ass, bro. I would pay very good money to watch that. Can you imagine? It would be so good. Oh God. Oh man. Yeah. All the money from his match would be gone in 2 days. Yeah. Well, like he'd get paid out like 10 grand for doing that boxing fight. And then that night he'd spend like that mystery account. We'd spend 10 grand on WWE champions. And he'd be like, they're just trying to troll me, guys. It's fake. I have a bad DSP. I'm not a good DSP imitator. Anyway, I take yokes. I can speak. Resubbed with Prime. They've been subbed for 23 months on Twitch. Even though we left Twitch and started streaming on YouTube, Yokes has remained and continued to sub every month over on Twitch. What a pro. What a pro. Much love, my friend. Thank you so much. Luke Stevens on the next Misfits card. I don't think I'd pocket the money. I'd be interested in doing a boxing match for charity or something. Unless it was like really good money, and then I'm down, of course. Who doesn't want money? But yeah, I think it would be fun. Back in the day, I went hard in the paint with Krav Maga. We never did any straight boxing training. But if it was like an MMA fight, I think I might surprise some people. But it's been a bit. I've got that dad bod. I've got the gamer bod. I have started going back to the gym. We're getting there, slowly but surely. It is a long, arduous process to get back in shape after you've spent a few years like just with it not being a priority. So it's going to take a little while for us to get there, but we'll get there eventually. Got that dad strength. Ooh, you better believe it. You don't even know. Boogie tweeted he got free hotel and travel. Okay, well, I stand corrected. If he's gone back on that. In the documentary they released yesterday, they show like the payment, and then they show the things subtracted from the payment. Maybe the documentary filmmaker misunderstood how it priced out. I could have sworn he also said that he had to pay his flights, but maybe he was reimbursed and that's why the wires got crossed. I don't know. If that's the case, that's better. If that's the case, that's better. But he might have also been told that it's an old tweet. Well, maybe what I'm thinking is maybe they negotiated it where Boogie, like, you book your flights or we'll book your flights for you, but it's taken out of your purse. It's taken out of the 10K that you make. I don't know. Either way, I think they got screwed. Even if they made a full 10K cash before taxes, I still think they should have made way more than that for that boxing fight. A lot of people I know who are not that into boxing or gaming or internet drama, they've seen Boogie over the years. They've seen Wings, and they watched it. They went to it and checked it out because they know Wings and Boogie. But you know, it's just I think they got screwed, frankly. They could have made a lot more. Like a single sponsorship. Well, granted, they aren't pulling the views that they used to. But on like a video that makes like maybe 250,000 views, if you have a good agent, if you have good negotiators and it's a good brand, these don't come along often, but you should be able to negotiate a sponsorship for a single video that does $250,000 that would generate maybe 10 grand. Like, that's not that crazy, shockingly enough. If you have granted, it's maybe you get one of those a year from that sponsor, but like, that's for a single one of those videos that one of these guys could get from posting the video of this fight. And they made less than that. Like, it just doesn't make sense. They got really screwed on the payouts, I think, in my humble opinion. They're lying about the payouts. I think Keem verified that it's 10K is what they took. I'm pretty sure Keem has said that on a video that he did. Carl, member for 10 months. Thank you. Woo, 10 months. Hope you're well. Also played the first chapter of Alan Wake 2 today. Loving it so far. Also, yeah, the Boogie Duck is depressing AF. Yeah, halfway through the documentarian stops and is like, I had to take a break from filming this documentary for a couple months because it was so depressing. Like, every word out of Boogie's mouth was so depressing. It was really hard to keep it going and to make the documentary interesting to watch. And there's a part where he pulls out right after that, and then he goes and interviews like a psychiatrist. He takes Boogie to a job coach, and like they do stuff like that to just show like, what do we got? And in Boogie's case, I think Wings could go and get a real job. In Boogie's case, Boogie pleaded guilty to a felony with that gunshot thing that happened with whatever Hassel guy, which means he's a convicted felon, and his felony is aggravated assault. Believe it or not many companies want to hire you. People are like, just go get a job at GameStop or Walmart or something. He can't. Like, he straight up can't because of that charge. It's madness. Yeah. OG Diff, thank you for coming out, my friend. Appreciate you. Let's see. I thought you were maybe a little bit too skeptical of Alan Wake 2, then ACG dropped a bomb. What did ACG say? I missed it, Stefan. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. What did ACG say about Alan Wake 2? I must have missed it. Was he like very negative? Interesting. Gotta support my boy. Thank you, Yokes. I think I've been sub since around the time I used to play Warzone Wednesdays with you. Oh yeah, those were the days when Warzone Wednesday was still good. Those were the days, Yokes. He was mostly critical. I'll be real, I think that the game is generally pretty good, but I also think it's pretty overrated in terms of gameplay. People saying that it's like one of the most impressive gameplay suspense thrillers or horror games in recent memory. I'm like, what are you guys smoking? Like the mind place and like that whole system is, as far as I'm concerned, a waste of time. Like it's really unnecessarily bloated. It's not a detective system, which I don't know why they marketed it that way. Just in general, I think it was a strange choice, but again, that's just me. That's just me. In the video that's about to go up, I'm just making sure I have all of the settings and everything properly set up. But in the video that's about to go up, I go back and I try Alan Wake 2 on my supercomputer, and I break it pretty hardcore. Like, I just load into the game and it breaks. It's pretty bad. I don't know what I did to deserve it, but yeah, I've got the magic touch with Alan Wake 2. And it might be that I'm doing something wrong or my computer is busted or something, but I have run into so many technical issues with Alan Wake 2 that I feel like there's something else going on, you know? Yeah. Prey, The Evil Within 1 and 2, Bioshock Trilogy, and even Dead Space all come on top before Alan Wake. Yeah, I understand people like it. For me, it's just not doing it for me. Oh, a bunch of monetization stuff on YouTube is glitched out. That's not good. Yeah. Oops, that's not good. Yeah, all of the latest drivers in the review packets they send, they say, please play the game with this driver version or whatever. And with that, I mean, you just go and you check it, and sometimes they'll give you the actual like .exe whatever or .msi file, I think it is, for the driver. So if NVIDIA hasn't released the drivers yet, they'll provide them to you directly, which is super cool, and they're like beta versions of the drivers. So I think for Phantom Liberty, they did that, where they provided us the drivers ahead of the public release of them. So I always, like, we cross our T's, we dot our I's, we do all of our homework and make sure everything's running precisely how it should. But you also can't help it sometimes. I mean, if it's busted, it's just busted. And the fact that I've run into problems on the PS5 and the PC version of the game, to me, says there's something else going on, right? Like,
Tristan
it's not
Larrabee
just me, it's two consoles,
$5.06. Love you, bro. Is there any part of Luke that wants to create a video game company? Have a role as a producer or maybe investor? Peace. You're a legend.
Much love. You're a legend. No, you're a legend. Thank you. And yes, I actually would like to do that one day. Shocker. It takes a lot of money to make that happen and to get the ball rolling on something like that. But I will be coy. I have a whole design document I've built for one game I do want to make, inspired by old school detective games set in the Victorian era, also inspired by the Jack the Ripper cases, inspired by the artwork of Corpse Bride, that film from back in the day, if you remember that, and a handful of other influences as well. I have the design doc where I have a pretty good idea of how I want the game to work, how it would be structured, how things would be arranged, general art styles, things like that I'd like to double down on. But, you know, in order to make it happen, you have to double down on a pretty big team, and that just takes a lot of money. So one day, when I'm big and famous, like XQC or someone.
Hi Luke. I haven't had any issues yet with Alan Wake 2. I'm playing on PS5. Have you seen the new Sonic Apple Arcade game trailer and Talos Principle 2 trailer? They look interesting.
First of all, I'm glad that you're having luck with Alan Wake 2. That's awesome. Just before I move on to the other two things, I did hear, in case you guys didn't hear this on the last stream, I did hear back they have fixed the bug that I ran into that locked me from and prevented me from finishing the game. They have fixed it, but only for new saves. That's official now. So if you play the game from scratch today, you will not run into that. But the only way I can finish the game on PS5 now is by restarting, which sucks. So I probably will just be playing it on PC when I get the urge to go through it again. I've watched the end of the game. I've watched the videos and stuff of it, but yeah, if I want to play through it myself, the last like hour or 45 minutes, I will need to restart, which just kind of blows. But what are you going to do? Sonic Apple arcade game. I've not seen that Talos Principle 2 trailer. I do think we watched that. It also looked interesting. I thought it was pretty interesting. A lot of it looked good. You guys are being very generous. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. What did I do? Is it what I'm wearing? Is it my hair? What did I do to earn this? It seems difficult to not experience, or difficult not to experience a game without game-breaking bugs these days. Yeah, and I don't know, again, if I just have the magic touch and I attract it, or what's going on, but it does seem surprisingly common nowadays. Like, but what's even crazier is that some people will see it in like videos, or I'll talk about it, and then they'll like accuse me of faking it for some reason. Like, we had that one guy that came to all of our live streams, all of our videos and stuff, and was commenting on everything like, Luke's making up that he got a soft lock in Alan Wake 2. He just couldn't figure out a puzzle or something. I'm like, bro, I emailed the developers. Like, I've talked to them about this. What are you on about? And plus, like, why would I want to like why would I make that up? What do I get? Don't you think I get more out of it than by saying that I finished the game completely? Here's my thoughts on it. Here's everything. What do I get out of being like, yeah, I couldn't finish the damn thing? What? Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. But that guy, I guess he was just on a tirade. He was like, there's no way Luke can have problems with this game I'm excited for and haven't played yet. Therefore, it's all fake. It's just like, bro, chill out. Yeah, day before news. Yeah, we're gonna watch the trailer here in just a minute. 20 minutes.
Rango super chatted $5. Think we still get Fallout 4 update this year? Have you heard Todd Howard's recent comments about announcing Elder Scrolls 6 so early?
I think I heard him say that he wanted to shorten the time between announcements. The notifications are also really delayed for some reason. I'm not sure why that is. So sorry if you send a super chat or a tip through Streamlabs or something, it might be a little delayed. I don't know why it's like a couple minutes delayed, but anyway, I think he said they regret announcing it early. Yeah, well, that's what I was saying is, I think I've heard him say multiple times that their goal in the future is to announce things closer to when they actually release, so they don't have it sitting for like 5 years in limbo. And I think that's a good way of doing it. This thing where they announce it and then it takes 5 years for the game to come out, or 6-7 years for it to come out, I'm not a big fan of.
Frisco super chatted.
So I think it's a good move.
Does that mean that I'm going to get that lock bug? I'm the ending.
No. If you started playing on launch day, you shouldn't get it. It was for people. There's one other reviewer I know of that worked for like one of the big websites that makes the guides, and he ran into it as well. And for him also, he had to restart to get past that point. But if you were playing it after the day one patch, then you should be fine.
Snowborn super chatted $5. Do you think it's time they finally go with a new game engine for AC? I feel like it's very outdated or even downgraded compared to how AC Unity looked.
So for one, what we saw with Assassin's Creed Mirage was just the Valhalla. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Was just that engine. With like a couple of little tweaks, but it was basically Valhalla's engine running Mirage. So it didn't look like there had been many graphical improvements, because frankly there weren't, because it was a 3-year-old engine effectively. So that's part of the reason it looked kind of stale. With regards to their future releases like AC Red, that will actually be running with an upgraded version of the engine that's been tweaked and reworked for current gen consoles. Like what you saw in Star Wars Outlaws is probably what you can expect graphically from the next Assassin's Creed game. So if you look at Star Wars Outlaws and you think, wow, that actually looks really good, that's about the level of fidelity you can expect from AC games moving forward. I agree that AC Unity still looks really good. The lighting engine in that game is fantastic, but part of the reason they scrapped it was because it caused so many things to break. And so they scrapped it, unfortunately, and moved on. Instead of fixing it, they just changed it back. I think AC Unity, in terms of the lighting, looked really good at the time, but there were also all sorts of limitations. You know, they lost out on the constant day-night cycle. They lost out on a couple of things. They could have like a night lighting established, but they lost the dynamic stuff that they did with later games. And so unfortunately they moved on from it, but you know, they traded it out for some other stuff. But I do think that we're going to see in the next 12 months what a current version of that, whatever, Snowdrop, I think is what it's called, engine, what that can do. And like I've said, there's some stuff they're doing with Star Wars Outlaws that will break your brain. There's some crazy stuff. We'll see what Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is like when it fully launches. I think the game looks pretty good from what we were seeing. And by the way, somebody asked earlier before the stream started, and I saw it, I forgot to mention it. Somebody was like, where did your video looking at the Avatar Frontiers of Pandora thing go? Because I put out a stream clip. We watched on stream Joel Raptor and Mr. Matty Plays' videos on their time with Frontiers of Pandora. And it was interesting. I mean, they had two very different takes on it. Joel Raptor was actually generally iffy on it. There were a lot of issues he saw, and Mr. Matty was generally pretty positive towards it. But Joel Raptor requested that we take the video down because it looked like it might be affecting the viewership of his base video, which I was like, no, absolutely, I can respect that. Thank you for letting me know. So we unlisted the video, and in the future we just won't do reactions to Joel Raptor stuff, simply because a lot of his viewers watch my stuff, and if they see me offering my thoughts on his stuff, they'll click on my video instead of just watching his, and I think that that's a fair concern to have. So from now on, just know, like, we're not hating on Joel Raptor. He just specifically asked we not do those reactions on his content because we have crossover. So we're not ignoring his takes on stuff. We just won't be reacting to it anymore. Dilly. Yeah, we're gonna watch the Day Before trailer. We are 15 minutes out from it popping. We're close. Oh baby, we're close. Okay. Have you seen Quantum Error? Was looking forward to it, but after seeing the game, not much. Cosmic horror game. Yeah, I guess let me pull that up as well. We can look at that if we have time. Oh my god, my keyboard is so sticky. It's so bad. Yeah, we can pull that up. Yeah, it's like the space firefighter game. Why is it so zoomed in? Yeah. We'll check it out. We'll check it out here in a minute. Let me go back. You're saying a super chat didn't play. Let me go back. Oh, is that it? No. Okay. See what I mean? They're a little all over the place right now. Let me go back.
Chadwick Porter super chatted $4.99. Have you seen Quantum Error? Was looking forward to it, but after seeing gameplay, not so much. Cosmic horror game.
Cosmic horror game. Yeah, I have. We'll look at it. We'll look at the thing here in a minute. Or in a bit. Rango, think we still get Fallout 4 update this year? Have you heard the comments about... Oh, so I answered the last part of it, not the first part. As for Fallout 4 next gen update, I'm worried that it's taken them so long that they're just going to do it as like an anniversary edition and sell it to us. I mean, sure, it'll be on Game Pass, which is a better option. But for anybody, I mean, if they do that and also sell it on PS5 and PC that way, that would suck. But I would not put anything past them. But I'm just like, at this point, it's taken so long for them to do like actual updates and support for a lot of their games. I have to think that they're just prepping to sell stuff separately, you know? That's my expectation. That's my my expectation. Proto, oh baby, we are full term because of 9 months of support. Look at that. And do with this membership now, man, you got to fill up that space in your studio with a hot tub. That's the new house. New house is great. We're liking it a lot. We got our furniture in. We're feeling good. We're getting there. The studio is going to change a good amount. I have some bookshelves coming that will pretty much fill up the entire back wall. So like this is going to rotate and go over here. And then the back wall will be all new bookshelves for like the collectibles and statues and stuff. And then the glass cases, I think this case and that case, I think are going to go on this wall over here. So you won't be able to see them anymore, but those will be for like Warhammer figures and stuff like that. So we're going to get there. It's just a process. We got to wait for the bookshelves to come, and then I'm going to have to build them, and it's going to be a whole thing. But each bookshelf is like 5 to 10 feet wide, not 5 to 10, 5 to 6 feet wide. So it's going to fill up the entire wall all the way across. So it's going to be good. We're going to have plenty of room for more collectible statues, baby. You better believe it. You better believe it. Buckle up, baby. Luke hot tub stream coming. You better believe it, Saturn. Who do you think you're messing with? I am the one who bathes. It doesn't work as well. You can say it angrily, but it doesn't really work. 10 minutes, baby. 10 minutes. Man, okay, real quick, in all of our chats, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, what do you expect the price tag to be? Where do you think the price tag is landing? I think the price tag lands, I'm going to say $39.99. I think that's what it is. Now, I don't think that they do. I mean, if they come out full price, dude, I'm going to lose it. If they come out full price, I'm going to lose my mind. I mean, already, I think free to play is the better bet, but I mean, maybe they're just like, let's just milk it for all it's worth. Even if we only get 1,000 suckers to buy this thing, we'll still be good. I bet they try 80. Dude, no way. Boycott Bungie, boycott Sony. Well, that's the problem, George, is apparently, so somebody mentioned this earlier. Just throw some pitch in for that. Thank you for the support.
Shake and Bake super chatted $4.99. Just throwing some pitch for the hot tub.
I'll tell Nikki, babe, they donated for it. I have to get the hot tub for the studio now. They contribute. I mean, what am I supposed to do? But yeah, apparently, so Bungie laid off 8% of their workforce kind of out of nowhere. And there's no defending how they did it. They just like turned off employees' security key cards, didn't let them in the building, disabled their internet or their email access. And so one day people showed up for work and just couldn't get in the studio. And there's no defending that. I mean, that is a very unprofessional way of doing it. When I was in business school, they described the reason for that. A lot of companies will do it that way because they basically like, there's this perception that if they fire you while you're still in the building, the odds of you going like berserk and destroying your company computer or stealing information, like downloading like design docs or things that are proprietary, goes way up. So instead of telling you, hey, you're going to be fired, tomorrow's your last day, and then giving people the opportunity to steal very valuable information or scripts that could be leaked to the public about an upcoming game, they just fire people cold turkey and hide it all from them and don't give them the chance to steal stuff. Whether that's justified and that it like justifies treating your, I guess now former employees like garbage and treating them like thieves, I don't think follows, but that's apparently why they do it that way. Just, it's not that they're trying to just be evil. Apparently there is an explanation for it. I don't think it's a very good explanation, but that's the idea at least. However, we found out why. People were like, how is this happening when they've had, like, gaming has had a very successful year this year, and why would they do this? I mean, Destiny's a huge game. How could they possibly be laying people off? Let me be clear about this. Just because gaming has had a good year does not mean every studio or every publisher has had a good year. Yes, we've had amazing games come out. Larian, for example, is having an amazing game. If Larian laid off 10% of their staff, that would be weird. However, that doesn't follow for every other studio. Do you think Arcane Studios Austin is having a great year with their stellar release of Redfall? No, they're having a bad year. They're not having a great time. Or the company that, produced Gollum, they shut down entirely. They're not even making video games anymore. And in the case of Destiny's revenue targets were missed by 45%. That's like saying that you expected to make $100 and you only made $55. That's a huge, huge problem. That's a huge problem. And when you are a business owner, whether corporate or small business, when you have payroll to run, when you have expenses, a studio space that you have to rent, when you have all of this stuff kind of included, you have to find or you have to make sure that enough money's coming in to cover those expenses. And in this case, if you're like, okay, as long as, let's just keep the numbers simple. If our expenses are $80 and we're expecting $100, that's awesome. We have an extra $20 left over for profit afterwards that we can then spill into future investments or send up to the corporate overlords at Sony that own us now into their profit coffers. But either way, we make $20 on all of those expenses and all those investments. That's awesome. Which margin wise, it's all over the place in the gaming space. Sometimes margins are even smaller than that. Sometimes they're bigger, but typically they're not making like hand over fist crazy amounts of money. They have tons of expenses involved. But then they're expecting to make 80 or to make 100 to make $20 of profit. And then they find out they're only bringing in $55. All of a sudden, they're underwater. They're $25 short of what they needed to just cover expenses. So what do? Well, when it's a poorly managed company or when they don't expect to get back up to that $100 target, they start to downsize. They start to get rid of employees that they didn't really need that much. Getting rid of like the big composer and all of these very high level executive or not executives, but all these high level designers and stuff is very surprising. I mean, they fired the composers for all of these games going back in Bungie's history, which is really, really bizarre. They fired the lady that designed the Halo logo and has been at the company all this time. Like, they got rid of a lot of people, but probably because those people were also very expensive. That's the expectation, or that's the inference at least. So, but all of this, it comes out of the basics, simple evaluation that they missed their revenue targets by 45%. Exactly. That's like Kramawi saying, almost half. They didn't achieve their goals by almost half. And you can say it's bad management, it's maybe issues with the player base, but the truth of the matter is that most people who are diehard Destiny fans have kind of gotten burnt out on it. Reactions and responses and reviews to recent expansions have not been very good. Even when people jump into it, they tend to stop playing relatively quickly. And this isn't even a matter of debate. Like, this is according to their own stats that they track. People just are not that into the game compared to a few years ago. And as a result, it's not bringing in the money they're expecting. And their upcoming game Marathon has just been delayed by a whole year to 2025. So they're not expecting a big influx of cash anytime soon. So as terrible as it is, like, it's understandable that the layoffs are happening because, and when I say understandable, I'm not saying like, oh, I feel good about it. I'm saying we can understand why it's happening. If any business missed its revenue targets by 45%, that business would be in serious trouble. Like, it just would be. If I owned an apartment building and it missed, like, I send it off to a manager and I hire these people to run the business for me, to run the building for me, and they have, say it's a 100 unit building, they have 45 vacancies. They would be fired so quickly, I can't even tell you. Like, before I even snap, they're gone. Because missing targets by 45% is horrendous. Like, that's not a little oopsie. That is everything's imploding. It's not good. Very, very not good. So I think there's many reasons for this, unfortunately. But it's also not that surprising at the same time. And more than anything, I think it's just that Destiny 2 has kind of fizzled out for a lot of people, and they are ready to move on to Marathon or whatever is coming next. And the problem is that that's not coming for another year and a half. So they laid off a ton of people. I think they did it terribly, but when you lose and miss your revenue targets by that much, yeah, your business is kind of up in the air. Okay, let's talk about the day before. The trailer's about to start. You ready? You guys ready? Are you prepared? Ninja Orange, thank you for that. I can get into that super chat in just a minute. We'll watch the trailer and then I'll jump on that. I have it pulled up, so I'll go back to that. I'm not forgetting you. This is going to start any second, and I want to be able to jump on it. Okay. When's it happening? It will begin shortly. Dude, the fact that people are like actually hyped breaks my brain and like kind of depresses me. Granted, there's a lot of people in here that are kind of memeing on them and hating on them, but yeah. What if we reload? Oh, it's a 2-minute countdown now. Don't you just love YouTube? Like premieres. People have asked me like, or I've had I've had like reps at YouTube ask me, why don't you do more YouTube premieres? And I've straight up told them, honestly, all of my viewers kind of say that they hate them. So I don't do them. Anytime we do a premiere, people jump into the video really quickly and are like, I like watching videos at double speed, so I really don't like premieres. And they're like, just release the whole damn video. Just do that. Like, what are you doing? And I told YouTube that. I was like, it's a fun idea to like build hype and stuff. But I just like for game trailers, I think that makes sense. I can see why in this context it makes sense because you can get the events, set reminders, all of that. But for regular YouTube videos, it doesn't make any sense. You know, why do they like premieres? I honestly don't know, but they're like very proud of it and they want people to use them all the time. Looks like a stock countdown animation. I mean, it kind of is. Lol, even the trailer's getting delayed. So my understanding is that in order to release a game on Twitch, you have to have had a Steam, or did I say Twitch? On Steam. In order to release a game on Steam, you have to have the Steam store page up for at least 2 full weeks. So already they aren't hitting that target. So the game's going to be delayed again, maybe just to like mid-November. But apparently in the description, they say that they're announcing they're giving a press release about the Steam page reopening as well as a release date and time. So they're having an announcement for the announcement of the game's release. Like, you can't make this up. Okay, let's see it. Win me over, baby. Trailer starts now.
The Day Before offers a uniquely reimagined journey into post-apocalyptic MMO open-world survival. Artfully developed by Fantastic and brought to you by the publisher Mytona. The open world of The
Is this
Day
an AI
Before
voice?
is beautiful and richly detailed, set in the present day on the U.S. East Coast, following a deadly pandemic.
I think this is an AI voice.
The game begins after you are rescued by the survivors of the Woodbury Colony, your new refuge and safe home.
From now on, the doors of Woodbury will always be open to you.
But first, you will create your unique character. Select a personality, choose a gender, and customize every detail. immersing yourself in our vision of post-apocalyptic America. Woodbury survivors are working to rebuild the community, constantly needing supplies, building materials, and various items. Your main task is to bring as much valuable loot as possible, and in return, you'll be rewarded with the local currency known as Woodbury coins.
Who the hell needs your junk?
Keep track of your health, hunger, and thirst indicators. And remember, dangers are everywhere here, ranging from the vicious infected to other players who are ready to take everything from you. We've designed survival in this world to be a thrilling experience. The weapons, which can be modified, are made with maximum realism to ensure that combat remains deep and engaging at all times. Each weapon boasts unique characteristics, as well as realistic reload and recoil mechanics. Completing various community tasks also presents an opportunity to earn Woodbury coins.
Well, who do I see here? How's it going, my friends?
Woodbury coins can be exchanged for ammo, from regular to armor-piercing, weapons, protective equipment, backpacks, food, drinks, and medicines.
At least it looks like a video game. It's more than can be said for it
Spa
a
access
day ago.
to relax, and a gym to work out. Safeguard your accumulated items by storing them in secure storage. Exchange Woodbury coins for cars to swiftly collect loot and access distant, hard-to-reach locations. You will receive your own ranch, where you can purchase and upgrade houses, as well as install furniture and decorations. The ranch serves as your cozy, safe oasis amidst the post-apocalyptic chaos. Welcome to the next generation of post-apocalyptic MMO open-world survival games like never before. Immerse yourself in the day before.
The Day Before, early access December 7.
A full month. Hold on. The asterisk. The Day Before early access begins December 7th on Steam. Follow updates about the launches on other platforms through the official social media channels. Okay. I mean, it's been delayed again. And like, again, no raw gameplay. It's all just like scripted sequences. I mean, again, also, who asked for the cars? Like, am I crazy, or was that kind of weird? There's a lot of strange things here. I don't know. And so, in case people are not aware, this is the game that was developed by volunteers. They don't even have like a dev team. This was put together by a team of volunteers, who are working for free for this studio Fantastic and some unknown publisher. Do they hold on? I mean, I guess we should see. Is the Steam page up? Steam. No, the Day Before. It is up. And it does not have a price tag associated with it.
Offers a uniquely reimagined journey.
It does not have a price tag. And now it's framed as early access. Man. I don't know, man. You can't make this up. And I mean, what are the odds it gets delayed again? I'm probably pretty high at this point. What is my Tona? Oh yeah, these are the guys from Prop Night. So they've made one successful game before, but they have a history of just abandoning games they put out very quickly. So I don't know. I don't know at this point. Who can say? But did that win me over? Not really. Am I convinced now? Am I sold? Not really. Real quick, shout outs to everybody who did this stuff. Let me catch up on this real quick. Paul MC93, thank you for the sub over on Twitch. What a pro. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you dearly, beloved. Let me catch up on these real quick because we're a little behind. Ninja Orange, real quick, just to go back to yours. Thank you for the 5. Hey, do you think there will be a video game crash? There have been so many layoffs. Video games are becoming more expensive and are taking longer. I think there actively is one. I mean, in many ways, Phil Spencer in his emails that leaked actually did a good job of describing this. Oh, what was that? Did you guys hear that? Like staticky? You guys hear that? Is my mic cable touching? If my mic cable touches anything that has like direct current in it or is too close to a certain part of my PC case, it causes that sound to go off because of the electromagnetic distortion. Or it's a ghost or something, yeah. Or it's a ghost. I did see a YouTuber that was like all about ghosty ghouly stuff, and they were like, clearly it was like the cell phone interference with the microphones. Like, and right as I talked about this case, there was a ghost that interfered with the microphone. Maybe Rebecca's ghost is talking with us right now. You know how they all talk like that? And clearly you see the guy like holding his phone right next to the microphone, and it's like a condenser USB mic, and so it gets all of the interference and stuff. It's like, bro, it's just... But they, like, even if you explain to them what's happening and you can replicate and show, look, when you move the phone close, it causes that to happen. They don't care because they want to believe. They like it. They like the like excitement of the unknown. So they choose to not know stuff, even though you can know it. You can prove that this is not what they think it is, but they don't want to know that because they like living in that mysterious area. Lol, I would watch your paranormal investigations. Well, do you guys remember BuzzFeed Unsolved back in the day? Like 5-6 years ago? I loved that show. I thought they did a great job. But it's like Shane and Ryan, with Ryan being the ghost believer and the scaredy cat, and Shane being the one that just doesn't take any of it. And he's like, this is all BS. Sure, I'll lay on the pentagram. You can chant stuff at me. I don't care. I'm the Shane guy. Like, I don't buy any of it. It's like, why is it that these ghosts only seem to mess with the people that already believe they're there and that they're messing with them? Like, it's all just confirmation bias and stuff. And then if a ghost does attack me, you'll know it's real because you'll know that I'm not like hamming it up trying to be dramatic. I'm like, no, something actually happened. But it never seems to happen. Instead, it's always just the people that already take that stand that have these experiences, you know? It's always the people that believe in aliens that get abducted. Isn't that weird? Isn't that strange how that works? And then they say, oh, I wasn't a believer before I was abducted by these aliens. And then their friends and family come out and they're like, no, they've been crazy into aliens for a long time. So yeah, nothing's new. Nothing's new. Where's the skull? Grandma Sue's right back there. She's right there. She's with us. Don't worry. When we get those new bookshelves, she'll have her own shelf. Why would you... Well, why would you want to abduct somebody that doesn't believe in you? Now that's the question. But anyway, Ninja Orange. Sorry, I got distracted. I'm just trying to publish this video real quick. Let me do this. We'll see how this goes. I can show you guys what it looks like too after this. Okay. Kind of reminds me of religion. Jeez, careful. Let's see. As for this, a video game crash, I think we're in the middle of one right now. Phil Spencer put it really well, because basically what he said is that all of these AAA publishers, they got into this space where they didn't want to evolve with the digital only realm, and with the advent of like the Steam Greenlight program and all these indie devs being able to just put out their own single A or double A titles without the need of a publisher. And so these huge publishers all of a sudden are not that needed anymore. And the way that they try to justify their own existence is by greenlighting and bankrolling these huge games like Saints Row, the reboot, for $200 million, because they're like, well, those indie devs, they can't do these huge projects. So instead, I'm going to, we're going to greenlight these huge projects because they can't do those. And that's what's going to set us apart and make us all the money. And so they tried that, but they ran into this problem where sometimes people are not that interested in those reboots. And frankly, the reboots are really risky, because if you spend $200 million on a project and it's not done super well, you just lost $200 million and you wasted everybody's time and you ruined a franchise and all this. And that's what's happened consistently with a lot of these big budget AAA things, where like Square Enix has screwed up with it a couple of times as well. They had, of course, everybody's favorite Forspoken, which was a $200 million flop. And then they also had Final Fantasy 16, which was not as big of a flop as Forspoken, but by their own admittance, it did not perform anywhere near as well as they expected it to. Even considering that it was a PS5 exclusive, it did not perform as well as they thought it would. So some of these like big AAA super expensive games end up kind of coming back to bite these big publishers. And what that's doing is it's making a lot of those big publishers question what they should greenlight and what they shouldn't. And it's causing a lot of those more wacky original ideas, those individual fresh IP, they're kind of getting set aside. And instead we're just seeing sequels upon remasters, upon remakes, because at least those sell. And the reason those sell is because the consumer is more confident that a remake of Resident Evil 4 is going to be good, rather than trying this new spin-off horror game that they've never seen before. And it's the same thing happening in movies, where all of these original IP that Disney and Pixar have tried to make are flopping. And so instead they come out and they decide that they're going to just do a bunch of live action remakes of Snow White, and then they're going to come and do the 15th Star Wars movie. They're going to make Toy Story 15, and like, it's just time and time again. But it's just because consumer confidence is really low. And then consumers get frustrated that all they're getting are these spin-offs and remakes and remasters and stuff. And so they get frustrated and stop supporting those. And then you're at a weird stalemate where the big publishers that greenlight these big projects are like, well, you don't want the original IP because you haven't liked that. You don't want like the more transformational reboots because we've tried that and everybody made fun of us. You also don't seem to really want the remakes and remasters anymore because you're getting frustrated at how many of those are coming out. What do you want? And so everybody's just upset and everybody's having a bad time. And we're approaching the point where everybody is just in agreement that we're all kind of miserable. And I think there's not a clear fix for it. I think we're just kind of in a tough spot, because what it's going to take is just a kind of resurgence of creativity. I mean, you need a new DreamWorks to come along and shake it up and show, oh no, you can make some really wacky original stuff that's different and that's exciting. But you're going to need some of these big creative powerhouses to lead the way, both in the film space and in the video game space. But more than anything, it's all determined by our support. So if they don't get the support of just the consumer, it doesn't work. Zachariah, I'm watching you, buddy, on Twitch. I got you. Did they announce the actual price of the day before? Oh, I didn't see it on the Steam page. What's the price? What price did they, or are you asking? No, you say they announced it. Where did they announce the price? It's not on the Steam page. I don't know. Let me know. Anyway, it's $39 for EA. Or EA? What do you mean EA? I don't think they're selling it on EA. But early access. Oh, early access. Okay, so it's $39. Isn't that exactly what I said? Didn't I predict that? Oh, I'm so smart, dude. I'm so smart. $39, bro. So anyway, I think we're kind of in the middle of that crash. It's not going to be like as exciting, I guess, as what some people imagine a crash looking like, which is that everything plummets, the whole thing kind of implodes. But all of these layoffs, all of this stuff happening at the same time is a reflection of an industry that is very polarized and very based on extremes. Either you have a blockbuster masterpiece like a Baldur's Gate 3 or Tears of the Kingdom or something, or your game is kind of considered to be a mediocre failure. And a lot of it is born also out of the public discourse. I mean, nowadays you're seeing it. People lost their minds when Starfield was getting 7s and 8s out of 10 because they were like, what? So the game sucks? It's like, no, a 7 out of 10 is just, that's a good game. It's not great. It's not amazing. It's not a masterpiece. It's a good game you can have fun with, but it has a lot of problems. There's still a place for those games in the industry. But right now, gamers have this perception that if a game is not a 9 or a 10, it's a pass. And part of it is that games are expensive. People can't afford to buy 15 games that are $70 each every month. Like, it just doesn't work. And with the constant overflow of supply, they just don't really know where to put their money. So they wait and only put it into the 9s and 10s, and everything else is a wait for a sale. And maybe that's the solution, is that the pricing models have to change. But the problem with that is it's kind of like the chicken and the egg. They don't want to lower the prices because with the current sales numbers, if they lower the price and retain the same sales numbers, they don't make money. It won't be profitable. But then again, nobody wants to buy the game, or not as many people want to buy the game because it's so expensive. So they don't buy it as much. But if they lowered the price, then they might actually buy it. But somebody has to take that first step to buy it and support it and lower the price. And then once the price is lowered, jump on it. And it's just kind of a standoff at this point. So we'll see. I mean, I think the best bet for a lot of these studios, and hopefully what they're going to learn in the next handful of years, is to just have a pro-consumer approach, and gamers will support that. Like, people loved seeing Larian bring out an RPG that was just a complete package that brought a good game, and that's it. And it was $60. It wasn't even the full 70. It was just $60. You can have a good time with it, play it, love it, enjoy it, cherish it. And you don't need to go and buy any DLC or upgrade packs or deluxe editions and stuff. You just have a good time. They need to bring demos back out. They sort of have a demo system now with Steam refunds. Because you can just like, I mean, you can buy a game, play it for 2 hours, and then return it still, you know? Sometimes I wonder if any of these developers are actually gamers or if they just make the game and never play it, or other games. I think the problem is that a lot of these corporate bigwigs that are writing those $200 million checks, they're obviously worried about their investment and they want to make their money back. So they say, well, look at Fortnite. It makes all the money. Just make Fortnite, but with Star Wars or with zombies or this or that. Just do that. And it's not that simple. But these guys seriously don't understand it. I mean, they think that you can just go to Naughty Dog and be like, you guys made The Last of Us? People love The Last of Us. People love Fortnite. Just combine them. Easy. And they don't understand that the fan bases, exactly, Unknown Exo, the fan bases don't actually work like that. They're completely different in terms of demographics. They're completely different in terms of tastes. The people that like single player narrative stuff are not actively usually playing live service battle royale games. They just don't cross over. But these executives have to spend $200 million to learn that lesson. And even then, it doesn't seem like they actually learn it. So yeah, it's a good question, Ninja Orange. I think that we're in the middle of one of those crashes, but one of the things you have to remember is that a lot of crashes you don't really realize, and it's the same with recessions and financial disasters typically. You don't realize you're in the middle of it, or you don't realize you're in it until you have broader perspective to look back on it. Like trying to pick the day that the 2008 financial crisis started is actually surprisingly difficult. There's a couple of days like when the Lehman Brothers went upside down and bankrupt where you can be like, oh, that was like the big day that all the dominoes fell. But it actually started before that, but it was kind of a slow slope, and then it really accelerated quickly before leveling out. And in this case, I think we're on the downward slope. You'll probably see a handful of big publishers announce more studio closures. I mean, you've seen a ton of them with like Embracer Group, where they've shut down a ton of stuff and canceled a ton of projects, and Ubisoft has canceled a ton of projects. So I think we're already sloping down, and we might be approaching the level out point. But yeah, it's just, this is what happens when you put out a ton of kind of mediocre games that people aren't that excited about. People don't want to buy it. Shocker, right? Evmo, yeah, unfortunately the money is in control, and I get it's a business, but dang, it's insane just how much gaming has changed. Now it's all about how much money can we squeeze out of consumers while spending the least amount of time developing a game. Yeah. Yeah, and it's like you said, we understand why it works that way, but it doesn't mean that we have to like it. And also, like, I think we're allowed to be upset about it too when they take some of our favorite devs and force them to do crap that they shouldn't be doing. You know, it's just, in general, it's frustrating. Yeah, Activision and Infinity Ward keep pumping out bundles instead of fixing their game. Well, and it's also, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And as far as they're concerned, if people are still buying stuff, it ain't broken. And I mean, little conspiracy theory hat. Everybody put on your conspiracy theory hats. Mine's on. I am fully convinced. I'm willing to have my mind changed if somebody presents alternative evidence, of course. But at this point, I am convinced that Activision is intentionally regularly breaking their games, like Warzone especially, in order to sell back the solution to it. Best example is probably just with Warzone and the weapons that constantly break and end up becoming the meta. And then they happen to be selling that same weapon in a bundle in the store for like $20-25. So if you want to stream Warzone, if you want to be the next Nick Mercs or Ninja or whoever, you're going to be streaming it. And so you're going to go and buy the gun that's in the meta off the store for $20. And then a few days later, they'll patch it and all of a sudden it's balanced again. But then another gun breaks, and that one happens to be in the store for you to buy, and along with 15 other things. And they did that time and time again, and they've been doing it for years at this point. And how people still put up with it, I don't know. It's baffling to me. But I'm thoroughly convinced that they intentionally break their games just to sell you the fix. And that's why I stopped playing Warzone. We used to do Warzone Wednesdays where we'd stream it, and I'd invite you guys in, and we'd all hang out and have a good time together. It was a good time. We had fun, but now I can't. I'm good. Do we know if AC Mirage was considered a success by Ubisoft with a lower price? Yeah, Randex, everything I've seen has suggested that they are very pleased with the result. Was it like overwhelming? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But at the very least, it seems to have performed as well or above what they expected it to do, which is all you can really hope for nowadays in the market. Alonzo, thank you for the 5, by the way. Sup, is the Logitech G Cloud any good for travel and being on the cheap side? And have you played Heavy Rain? And you should do a finance channel. Just to work through those. Logitech G Cloud, any good for travel? Because it's a cloud device, it's just entirely determined by your internet connectivity. I don't know where you're traveling to. Here in the lovely state of Colorado, internet service at hotels is pretty abysmal. So It's just not very good. When I've tried like xCloud and stuff in hotels, it's always a train wreck. So I would say it's probably not the best for travel. Something like an ROG Ally would be better because then it's played natively on the device. That would be my suggestion there. But who knows? Maybe where you're traveling, the internet connectivity is way better. Being on the cheap side, yeah, it is more affordable for sure than an ROG Ally. But I mean, you kind of get what you're paid for as well. Have you played Heavy Rain? And you should do a finance channel. Heavy Rain, I believe a long time ago. Yeah, we played it. I think I played that with my friends Olivia and Megan, like a long time ago. I don't know when it would have been, but I have fleeting memories of that. Specifically the intro. It was very weird. But yeah, it's been a minute. And as for a finance channel, funny you mention it. I actually think what I'm going to do is we're going to convert the unfinished room in the basement just on the other side of this wall. We're going to convert that into a secondary little studio space. And we're going to start doing some little financy videos for fun. I think it'll be way easier actually to manage that channel when we launch it than like this live channel or the main gaming channel, just because like finance stuff is much more timeless than this stuff is. Like if I put out a video on like, I don't know, I'd like the idea of trying to help people with their finances. So talk about like their current situation and things like that. Some people have done it with like financial audits, like Caleb Hammer's done it. Graham has done it. So there's ways we could do it, but I think there's a potential for it, but it would be way easier to do it because you make one of those videos. It is the same today or tomorrow or in a year from now. You can get just the same amount of enjoyment out of it. So I think it'll be way easier to run that. And I think it'll be fun because then, I mean, I talk about all the finance stuff all the time anyway, so we might as well just put it on its own channel. Why not, right? Why not? So I think we will eventually do the finance channel. Let's see. Edward, what did I think of Spider-Man 2 and the writing? I thought it was really predictable, honestly. The moment I saw a particle accelerator in like the center of Manhattan in this main story location, I was like, okay, I know exactly how the game's ending now. And sure enough, no spoilers, but you don't really need spoilers because anybody who thinks about it for a minute will realize how that story's going to end. So I thought it was frustrating. It was so predictable. Like I knew the final encounter within the first hour and a half of the game, and that always is a bummer to me. So unfortunately, really, really predictable, but other than that, it was fun. Let's see. Hold on. We are working through this. Nashman, let's talk about this. Sent £5. I almost said euros. Thank you. Luke, you didn't see my message, so I had to pay. Sorry, I'm really popular. I don't know. I'm sorry. Have you seen the God of War DLC stuff? What's your thoughts? Are you talking about the stuff with Atreus? Atreus! I think assumption is that we're potentially getting a spin-off game, kind of like Miles Morales, but with Atreus. Because they built all the stuff for Atreus for Ragnarok, it only makes sense. Give a little spin-off game, let him do some stuff while you work on the next game with Christopher Judge, and I think it makes sense. I think it's a layup. So I think that's a good spot. It's an article. Who wrote the article? I can pull it up. If somebody actually is doing like reporting on it, I'm down to read it. Look at Mr. Popular. Yeah. Let's see. That's funny. Yeah, who wrote the article though? Who wrote the article? I don't know. You heard about Embark using AI voices for the game. Yeah, the AI stuff is just weird to me. Like, especially wasn't it was Ubisoft. They laid off a bunch of people and they also were using AI art. So like they laid off a bunch of people at a studio and then they replaced them. I mean, pretty much like the graphic designers and stuff, they replaced them just with Midjourney and had Midjourney design the art for all of their social media posts. And so people were like, this is kind of screwy. You fired all these people to replace them with AI art. Like that kind of sucks. Like I get why they did it, because they're like, why are we paying this person $60,000, $70,000 a year when Midjourney will do it for free? But it, like, the art isn't that good, and like people know it's AI generated, so everybody knows what they were doing. Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know if gamers truly care. Like, I don't know if people actually care if stuff is AI generated. I know artists, of course, care. But I don't know if the average consumer is going to be like, I'm not going to buy that game because they used AI art or an AI voice or something. I don't know. I personally don't like it, but I don't know if the average consumer gives a crap. r/gaming leaks and rumors. Okay, stuff about a Naughty Dog game and... Let's see. Okay, we'll pull this up. Modern day. Where was the Naughty Dog game? Oh, we could talk about the PS5 thing because that looks like garbage. Where's the Naughty Dog? Did I go past it? Daredevil, DLC, future, Bungie layoffs, da-da-da-da-da-da. Naughty Dog. That's 27 days ago. I thought there was a newer article. Am I crazy? I thought it was like... Yeah, for some reason this wasn't pulling up. Okay, well, let's touch on this real quick. So, first things first. I just saw the Jim Ryan thing. That's terrible. One of Spain biggest gaming websites says that God of War Ragnarok DLC will be unveiled in the next 2 months. He says that he was able to contrast and corroborate the information in such a way that he can say it comes from a reliable place. He doesn't know if it's going to be unveiled via a trailer, teaser, or at a big show, but he speculates that it could be at the Game Awards. Okay, let's see. Can we do they have like a built-in translate function in Opera? I don't actually know if they do. Let me try pulling it up here because Google can translate it. Okay. Here we are. So this is Google translated, so we'll see how accurate it is. But exclusive, the God of War Ragnarok DLC is real and would be announced at the end of this year. Let's see if they have details. Do they have any information about it? Yeah, at first, all the rumors pointed to Sony Santa Monica creating a DLC for God of War Ragnarok, but the latest leak suggests this expansion could become a complete medium-sized game like Miles Morales was with regards to Spider-Man, for example. Of course, it's unknown what this DLC would be about or how big it would be, so we can only wait for PlayStation to make a statement regarding these rumors. So, all there is that they're saying it is a thing and that it's going to be announced soon-ish. Okay. I don't know how much weight to put into this. I've never heard of Aria Jongon. I don't know anything about them, but maybe. I mean, the thing is with this, if it ends up being true, awesome. If it's a lie, everybody's going to forget and nobody will know. You know, I really don't know what to do with it. I mean, there's people in the comments of the subreddit, considering Eric Williams said we're not getting DLC, this is probably a one-off Atreus game to tie up plot threads. Yeah, he said no DLC, but a spin-off game I think could still fit in with it. And I think that when you play Ragnarok, a spin-off game feels very likely. It just, I mean, they built so many different systems that they don't use a lot. So I think it would make sense. Yeah, Lost Legacy or Miles Morales, I think that also makes sense. DLC, yeah, I don't think that they'd do that, but especially if they can charge $40-50 for a spin-off game, why wouldn't they just do that? It only has to be 10-15 hours and they can justify that. let's see. Does this site have a good track record? The site leaked the past correct PlayStation Plus lineups, but there's a huge difference between leaking service updates and a whole ass project. Yeah, I mean, that's true. What's left? It wrapped up pretty well. I mean, Atreus, they leave on an actual cliffhanger. Like, he's standing next to a cliff when he leaves. So I think that could be a layup. I just hope it's not Atreus. He's fine paired with Kratos, but solo he just isn't interesting. Now Freya is someone I could get behind. She had way better chemistry with Kratos and had fantastic arc over the 2 games. Seeing how they could do magic-based combat system would be great to see. I don't think that they're spinning him off. Yeah, I think they probably pair him with Thrud. That's a good idea. So we'll see. I mean, but there's no details. If they offer details and they're like, it's a spin-off with Atreus where you're partnered with them doing this, and they give some specificity, then I'm interested. But this is the kind of leak where there's no specificity. So it's just like, what does any of this mean? Like, it could be a DLC. It could be a spin-off game. It could be a hint of a sequel. Any of those things could qualify, and these people could claim that they were right. Like, I just want details. Yeah, granted, it's a rumor. It's not technically a leak, but still, I would prefer some more specificity, I think. Jesus, Freya will be Atreus' stepmom soon. Mama. Dude, that'd be trippy, though. Like, you killed my son. Now become my son. You know? Like, I don't know how that would make me feel. Let's see. Let me tweak this. The Midgard mommy. Oh my god. Yeah, sounds like Greek gods. Yeah, it really does. That's the Midgard mommy. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that. I'm sorry. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I gotta say. Let's do this. Okay. A son for a son. Jesus. Oh. Atreus gets to Egypt before Kratos. I mean, maybe what I would expect them to do, honestly, if they're going to do a spinoff, I think they probably do one, like they do Atreus's thing in, still in the Norse setting with some bigger boss fights and encounters, maybe a couple of big encounters, just to wrap up some final little touches. But then they, at the very end of it, maybe have him go to Egypt. He gets transported there somehow, and that sets up Kratos coming to save him or something like that. That could be a really cool way of setting up the sequel. But I can't imagine that they just send him to Egypt and kind of spoil that big reveal and that first exposure to it. Because the first time we step into Egypt as Kratos is going to be amazing. I really hope that they do Egypt, but I'm worried that because they know everybody's expecting it, that they aren't going to do it. You know? That's my fear. Sindri had some real serial killer vibes by the end of the game. Yeah, maybe they do a whole thing with Sindri. Maybe it's like Atreus is going to help Sindri do something because he's going to try to... I guess that's a spoiler. But yeah, maybe Atreus goes and tries to stop Sindri from becoming a monster or something like that. His anger was misplaced, but it's understandable. Like, I understand he's not thinking rationally, but if anybody was in Sindri's position, I think they would feel so much guilt and also just devastating sadness. Like, I can understand Sindri feeling and acting the way he did personally. Still have to finish Ragnarok, but first I'm playing through The Last of Us Part 2. Yeah, I came late to the PlayStation world and I'm in its peak. Honestly, that was one of the most fun things I did when I got really into gaming. Like 2016-17 is when I got my first, I think 2016 was when I got my first PlayStation, and I got my PS4 Slim right before Black Friday. and I got it on a pretty good deal. That was when the mainstay consoles were like $299. So I think I got it for like $299, and it came with Uncharted 4. And that was a whole new world. Like I played Uncharted 4. I was like, oh my God. And then I played The Last of Us. I was like, oh my God. And it just kept amazing me. And so that first exposure to that lineup of those amazing games is something I will never forget. A Christian mythology game. I do think it would be really funny if Kratos and like Jesus had a fist fight. I think that could be really funny. I think that they would get like, people in America would not find that super funny, but I would find it really funny. In fact, it reminds me of in high school, there was a guy I knew. He was like, his parents were from Russia. They were like from Moscow. They were professors. Like they were raised very atheistic and secular, and their children were also very like secular and atheistic. And so this friend of mine, their son, he would always say in all of these Western history classes that we had going over like Christian church history through the Middle Ages and stuff, he would always call it Christian mythology, not history or Christian beliefs. It was always Christian mythology. And one of our teachers was like super Catholic and got so triggered every time he said it that like he threatened, he was like, I don't even know if I can, but you keep that up, mister, and you could be looking at expulsion. Like he wanted to expel the kid. He couldn't, of course, but he wanted to expel the kid for saying Christian mythology instead of like Christian, I guess, beliefs or I don't even know what they would rather it be called. That's the only religion or mythology that would get you canceled. I don't know. If you did like a whole game centered around like going and having fist fights against Muhammad, I think you would also get canceled. I'm gonna be real. It wasn't a religious school, but it was overwhelmingly run and operated by religious, like very religious people. So even though the like charter for the school was not at all religious, it was run very religiously for sure. Maybe it's because I'm biased, but I would love a God of War game set in Celtic mythology. It's one that doesn't really get much exposure. Imagine Kratos fighting banshees and pukas. I actually think that could be really, really cool. There was another one I saw that I thought looked really cool. Oh man, what was it? Oh, it was like it was like Lovecraftian stories from like set in the early 19th century or middle 19th century in like England. And I was like, what if they pulled some weird time travel-y BS and got Kratos to like 1860s England, but it's being invaded by like crazy Lovecraftian like fish people. Like it could actually like Cthulhu comes up and that's the final boss fight is fighting Cthulhu. It could actually be really, really trippy. It's probably not the best fit for Kratos, but if they did a different game around that, I'd be all in. But yeah, imagine Kratos versus Lovecraftian gods. Man. It's probably because nobody worships Odin anymore. Maybe we just have to wait like 5,000 years until no one's Christian anymore. Yeah, probably. You just have to wait until it's no longer considered a real religion. You know, like I ran into, we went to hear this. I talked about this on stream when, like the day after we did it, but I went to hear an Egyptologist named Zahi Havas speak in Denver. This was earlier this year, I think over the summer. And he was fascinating. I've watched him in documentaries since I was just like a little kid. So Zahi Hawass was amazing. And, you know, he had a great speech, but he opened up the floor for a Q&A at the end. And a lady stood up, and I kid you not, maybe I actually have pictures of her. She was wearing a mask, so I don't feel bad about showing pictures. Let me see. She was wearing, I kid you not, like full pharaoh garb, like robes, and then the pharaoh hat, crown, headpiece thing. And like it was crazy. Everybody thought she was like joking or hamming it up or something. Like it was really, really uncomfortable, honestly. But do I have the pictures of her? Dude, it was so freaking weird though. When was that? It would have been maybe June. Let's see, was that before or after Orion was born? I don't actually remember if it was right before or right after. Oh man, I'm not seeing it. Anyway, she was wearing like the full crazy head garb and outfits and everything. And apparently she was like a real hardcore believer in all of this stuff. I don't have pictures of her on this phone, but yeah, that's me and Zahi Hawass. My pants were way, way, way too tight. You can see everything. But yeah, she's wearing like the full garb. She looks like an Egyptian pharaoh, and apparently she was a real believer. She referenced like, and when I pray to Set, I light the candles, and my cat goddess Anubis comes and hangs out with me. And like, this lady was down the rabbit hole. But like, the reason we consider that crazy is because she believes this thing that very few people believe. But if that were more popular nowadays, it wouldn't be considered that weird, you know? It'd be like, oh, it's pretty normal actually. You know, so I do think you're right there. On maybe it's on this phone I have it. It was June. Oh, I did take pictures of this. We were walking through like Old Town Fort Collins, and we came across this that I thought just looked so much like, I feel like such a boomer holding this up. It looked like a shot right out of The Last of Us. Like they have the truck overgrown with all these vines and everything. I was like, oh, that's gorgeous. So I took a picture of it. I felt very artsy. Maybe it was May. Was it May? It was May 17th is when we went. And yeah, if I zoom in really close, you might be able to see her. You can't really make her out. Yeah, she's on like the far left side. But yeah, she was like a crazy person, but she wore the whole pharaoh garb and thought she was worshiping and praying to Anubis and everything. It was a little crazy. Anyway, how do we get on that? I don't know. They aren't the craziest religions if you think about it. Well, what's the old thing? I don't remember who said it originally, but there was one where a guy said, you know, he's like, in a cult, there is a charismatic leader who sets all sorts of prescriptions for behavior, for moral edicts, and what is considered ethical. And he commands his following. They follow him either because of his charisma or because of his teachings or some combination of the two. Even if what he says is not true, they follow him because of those things. And then in a religion, that guy's been dead for a while. And in the case of like Scientology, like we know for a fact that like that guy was making all of that up. We know this. But now it's been long enough that it's considered a religion. The IRS doesn't tax them or try to tax them anymore. Like it's been long enough that now, and it's fine. It's a religion. Like, it's just funny how it works. I don't think it's Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's told that joke. I don't think it's his joke though. It was from like an author back in like the 60s. But he has said it on his podcast. I've heard him say it on his podcast. Wait, dude, it could genuinely be my old art teacher. She dreams of her days as a pharaoh. That's a little sad. I mean, honestly, it's like, I feel bad if somebody's life is so unremarkable to themselves that they have to find meaning by, like, you know, by doing that. I would feel really bad for them. Oh, it looks like this. It looks like the Last of Us leak is fake. But I guess we can touch on this real quick. She had mental health issues, I believe. She was fired. She talked about it every class. Yeah, it's like, it's the same thing where like, I can't help but notice that a lot of people who lead fairly unremarkable lives, they're the ones that always seem to be chosen by these crazy things. Like, it's the people who are the most lonely that get abducted by aliens, that see Bigfoot, that have spiritual encounters with ghosts and stuff. And it's just, you know, it's too bad. It's too bad. But it's a way that I think that they can kind of make themselves feel more remarkable. I guess let's just touch on this real quick. So this is a great example. We're looking at this, even though this is looking, it's been confirmed fake by some of the people in the community. We'll touch on why. But this is something I think we should talk about, because these types of leaks, quote unquote, pop up all of the time. And a lot of the time, they're just people making stuff up. It's just people saying stuff and kind of daring somebody to challenge them and to to debunk them, because it's really easy to throw out a ton of garbage, and if you happen to get a few things right, you can then be like, oh, I'm a verified leaker, look how much stuff I got right, when in reality you were just throwing darts at a dartboard, and then you go up after the fact and draw the circles around the darts when you happen to stumble into something being right. So in this case, what they post is this. Okay, they say this is a leak. Okay, they say this is a leak from the upcoming Naughty Dog game. So it's codenamed Paradox is what they say. The release date is scheduled for late 2025. It's an action adventure story driven open map game. The genre is diesel punk fantasy. The world has been submerged by a mysterious Black Sea, and the only remaining communities are city-states protected by the energy of shiny trees. From the Black Sea come monsters called abyssals, a mix of robots and Lovecraftian creatures, which presumably is what this thing is supposed to be. Okay. They go on. The game is open map with the possibility of visiting various islands, each with different politics and culture. There are procedural dungeons, ancient submerged cities emerging from the Black Sea and are now corrupted, becoming procedural labyrinths. Paradoxes are the main weapons. They are rare artifacts with powers that violate the laws of reality. The protagonist has the unique power to use multiple weapons. Conceptually, they're similar to the fruits of One Piece, but on a gameplay level, they recall the weapons of Ratchet and Clank. The story features two thieving brothers who have the mission of escorting a girl with the power to prevent the rebirth of the Royal Abyssals, a civilization that dwells at the bottom of the Black Sea. Actual development began in 2021, no multiplayer. Now, that's all very specific, right? There's no way they could just make all that up. Right? 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 Well, people go in and they start talking about it. For one, it's been tagged as false by the community is apparently what they're saying. And this violates a handful of their rules as well. No leaking without a source. You have to keep on topic. You have to flare and title your post correctly. I don't know if this individual user flared it this way or if moderators did, but either way, it's been marked as false. And it seems that people in general are not buying it. Let's see why. You might want to delete your post about wanting a diesel punk game before making a fake leak about it. And they pull this up. And in r/CRPG 2023, and still no proper steampunk, diesel punk, or cyberpunk, or sci-fi CRPG game. So they've made posts wanting this type of game, and then they happen to make a leak or post a leak describing how Naughty Dog is doing it. Okay. Also, the image is AI generated. Edit, I hacked Naughty Dog and got more images of this game. And they post this, which are further AI generated pictures through like Midjourney that they then take a picture with their phone of to generate this and make it look super trippy and cool. Now, granted, I think this looks awesome, but you can generate this stuff with Midjourney super, super easily. If we go on, two thieving brothers escorting a savior girl. I don't know. Sounds fake. Yeah, pretty much a mix between Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us Part 1 with basic setup. Let me guess. One will become a surrogate father to her and the other will try to sacrifice her. HBO are actively holding a gun to Neil Druckmann's head while he writes The Last of Us 3. Cool AI art, though. Yeah. I don't think... I mean, maybe we can do this. Maybe... Let's see. Where's the original? Here's the original. So I don't know what this logo is supposed to be. This does look like one of those AI generated things. If I go Windows Shift S and I select this, I'm going to try doing like a reverse image search. And we're going to see if there is like another variation of this. Okay, no, not an exact copy. Search, find the image source. Upcoming title, Paul's Tech Rumor. 4chan. So a bunch of other places have talked about it and touched on it, but it looks like this is the first time it was posted somewhere. So I probably shouldn't pull up 4chan without checking it first, but people have pulled this up and tried to say that this is something. But you see, like, this person here kind of reposts it all. Yeah, people are just not buying it. Now, beyond everything else, no part of this sounds like a Naughty Dog game. I mean, apparently Naughty Dog designers are not that thrilled about being forced to do the Factions game that they're doing, and now that's on ice and isn't going anywhere. So they're already kind of pissed about what they're being forced to do. So what are the odds that they would willingly do something so specific and strange and wacky and different? It's just very, very odd. So yeah, this is an instance where it just seems that somebody is making stuff up to try and will it into existence, I suppose. It's a little weird. It's a little sad. But what are you going to do? Oh, somebody deleted the post of it. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, do you hear that? Hermione's outside the window. She's outside, and so she's meowing and trying to claw into the room. One day I was down here working and I had the window cracked open, and then I just looked down and Hermione, my cat, is sitting next to me, and I'm like, how did you get in here? And I realized she was outside and came in through the window well and just popped in. It was pretty cute. Boredom makes people do strange things. There is something weird where, like, they hope that just saying stuff will make it true. And it's odd to me. It's odd to me. Such as saying, I hope that the PS5 Slim looks cool. Well, we have pictures of it. Is it just me, or does it look like straight out of wish.com? I don't know. There's something about it that just looks super cheap. Maybe it looks way better in person, but this is a regular PS5 next to it, so it is a good bit smaller. But apparently, like, it's unclear if you can even remove these panels fully to, like, do custom panels like you can see on the original one. Yeah, it looks like one of those knockoff PlayStation systems. I don't know if it's just like the glossy finish. I personally don't like glossy plastics. I think they look super cheap. So that's probably most of it. If it was more of a matte finish like this one, it would probably look better and more premium to me. But there's that, pictures of the stand, and then a picture of how you need it to connect to the PS5 or to the network in order to register the disk drive, which has been talked about before. But I don't know, guys. Personally, I just don't really like the look of it. Granted, nobody should be like selling their main PS5 to get this. That doesn't make any sense at all. There's no reason to do that. But for future purchasers, I guess it's smaller and that's good. But you have to buy the stand separately. It's just, I don't know. Why does it look like a mini fridge? All the best consoles look like a mini fridge. It's true. It's true. So if the disk drive was external, would you still need to use the network first? Yeah, so this is something I do want to shockingly defend Sony on. People act like this is some sort of insane miscarriage of justice or something. This is required by regulators in many, many countries. You have to, it's like an anti-theft thing where they make it so you have to register it online. And it's because like they can track serial numbers or some crap. And so if like a truck is robbed, or like with some electronics, like, you know how when you buy an Apple device, they scan not just like the barcode for the UPC, but they also scan the serial number and then the IMEI and all of those. But they scan the actual serial number so they know exactly which phone you're buying. And that makes it so if you like rob an Apple store or a Best Buy or something, or somebody's iPhone is stolen, they know exactly which phone down to the serial number has been stolen, and they can brick it remotely. So that there's no reason to steal it because it's a hunk of useless metal at that point. It's a paperweight. And in this case, a lot of countries have set up rules and things. A lot of companies also do this with their electronics where they require you to have an online verification process for some of these pieces of hardware. So when you plug it in, it just checks real quick with their servers that it's not stolen and hasn't been flagged. Or it's also useful, like if you guys remember with the Note 7, I think it was, cell phone disaster with Samsung where the phones were just exploding. They can check dynamically if the phone is or the piece of hardware has been recalled or any of those things. So in this case, people acted like they were trying to be very like toxic and anti-consumer. And in this case, I think they honestly were just trying to follow the common laws of a lot of countries. So I don't think it's fair to be like hating on Sony for that. I think it's fair to hate on Sony for a lot of stuff that they've done recently. This is not one of them. Like, this is stupid. Hate on them for the stupid stand being $30. Like, to buy the stand is $30 more. That's insane. But hating on them for like requiring a network verification for new hardware, that's pretty normal. So, and I'm pretty sure, don't you also have to connect to the internet to set up your PS5? So like, oh, is it 21? Okay, it's $21 for 2 pieces of plastic. I'm sorry. You're right. I stand corrected. I still don't know what Sony was aiming for with the design of the PS5. Just something wacky and unique. I agree. I don't know what the inspiration was or what they were going for, but it's unique. It's weird. It's different, and it's very iconic. You see it, you know exactly what it is. And I can admire that. You know, it's a bolder design choice over the Series X, which is very clean, very minimalistic, just a straight mini fridge, nice and easy, you know. Yeah. I like that Sony did something different. Yeah, kind of me too. You know, I like that they look really different. I like that. Pixeliciousness. Also, thank you for subbing with Prime. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Much love, baby. Yeah, but the Flintstones car is iconic. Doesn't mean it's a good idea. You know what? That's a very good point. That's a very good point. Introverted gamer. Hey, Luke, do you still think the GTA 6 reveal is happening today? Off topic, sorry. Oh, no, you're fine. All I said was that I think if it's being announced this year, it would make the most sense for it to be announced today, or for a trailer to drop today or something by the end of the day. Do I think that's happening? I don't really care that much. I think there's no point in trying to predict anything, but somebody asked me what I thought was the most likely day for it to be announced, and I said today probably is the most likely based on my understanding of how Rockstar typically does things. But like, I wouldn't put money on it or anything. Like, I would not bet any money on something like that. Why are there 2 nuts on your table? 2 nuts? 2 nuts. I'm trying to look for 2 nuts. Oh, do you mean these? These are light bulbs. These are like those Philips Hue bulbs. They were in the old studio, but now I only have, this light fixture only has 2 lights. You can see me turning it on and off. So I haven't found a place to put those or use those. These nuts. Oh, Jesus, you got me. Why don't you acknowledge criticism of your taste in games? Why do you like such stupid games, Luke? You know what? That's a good question. I've been asking myself that question for years too. Oh man, I've been trying to figure it out. Oh man. Let's see. Hey Luke, I was listening to a podcast and they were saying that Spider-Man 2 had some bugs. Did you catch any? Yeah, in my review I show some where just straight up like entire buildings disappear. I think it's been long enough. I can probably show you this one. Hold on. I don't remember exactly which part it was in, so I'm gonna go through this before I share my screen, just so any extra spoilers don't get shared. But yeah, I ran into a bunch. And from everything I've seen, everything I've heard, apparently these bugs are mainly, like they were primarily introduced with the patch that went out on day 1 that was meant to fix some stuff. So apparently I just have some magic touch where, you know, because I didn't play it for review, I run into all of these things. I'm trying to get to it. I'm close. Yeah, here it is. So like I ran into this. Let me go full screen. Where straight up, it's in like one of the final boss fights with Peter as Venom, and he got stuck in the tree. Like he just can't get down. So like his animation to pull himself back down only goes so far. And so he's just stuck in the tree and can't get down. And I can't get to him. I can't pull him down. I can't do anything. I can't warp to him. He's just stuck in the tree. Like, and so after doing all of this boss fight, fighting through this phase or whatever else, I had to reload checkpoint. Like there's just nothing you can do. You can't get to him and he can't get to you. So like that was one where I was like actually kind of pissed. I was like, come on, in the middle of a big boss fight. Kidding me? But there were a bunch of others where like buildings would disappear, where the game would crash. So yeah, I ran into a surprising number of bugs, but I also had problems with like Ratchet and Clank. I have a magic touch with Insomniac games. Everybody else talks about how fantastically polished they are. And I run into all sorts of problems pretty consistently. Like this one I have labeled as the warp glitch. Yeah, watch this. So all this stuff gets sucked in, and then watch. This was a little side-by-side I made because I posted this to Twitter. The bottom right, I believe, is what's supposed to happen. This main screen is what I had happen. So you're supposed to immediately warp into this new area, and then you kind of warp out. And my game just never loaded. And so he just kept spinning, and then I speeded up and show. Like, he kept spinning until I warped outside of the playable area into like the open skybox, and you can see everything behind me. Like I just have the magic touch with these games. And I don't know if it's like, again, that I'm doing something wrong somehow. I just have found a way where every time I play a game, I run into bugs that nobody else seems to see. Or what I'm starting to suspect is that I run into this stuff and other people do too, but other people just don't really talk about it. I don't know. Like, what other conclusion am I supposed to make? Because every time I play these games, I run into these bugs, and I have a policy where I'll show you, as long as there's no spoilers, of course, I'll show you the bugs that I run into during my review period, because I don't know if it's going to be fixed before launch or what, but I'm going to show you. But a lot of other reviewers, and there's been 2 that I've spoken to, and I won't say their names just because I don't think they would like this being out there. But I've spoken to 2 other reviewers who have said that they will run into bugs in games, and as long as they don't think it's a big deal, they won't mention it in the review. They might offhandedly say a line like, and my time with the game was generally really smooth. I don't think that, I think the danger with that is that it's very easy for that to become a lie of omission, where people have the perception that the game is actually really polished when they're going to run into bugs. And I think that they deserve to know that. Like, does it make, like, is it that big of a deal? Probably not. And that's why I say in like these reviews, is this game breaking? No. Is this something to spoil, like bad enough to spoil the fun? No. But I'm going to tell you if I run into a bug. Whereas I think a lot of other reviewers have a policy where if it's not what they consider to be a big deal, they just won't mention it. Or like this is a segment from our video today where I loaded into Alan Wake 2, and look at this. This is a save file on PC 3 minutes into the game. But watch what happens. What's on her face? What's on her face? Yeah, I couldn't script this if I tried. The game save is apparently broken, and it warps me into a part of the game I'm not supposed to get to until like 6-7 hours in. Actually, maybe a little bit earlier than that. I don't recall precisely when it happens. But at one point, the water level will change and you can walk down here. However, for some reason, this save is just busted and it teleports you down there, which is a problem because you can't actually get here at this point in the game. You see that glitched out rock with the backside exposed and everything? You're not supposed to be able to get here. At a certain point in the game, that rock goes away and then you can walk through here. It's just bugged. Like, this is what I'm talking about. When the game breaks, it really breaks. And in this case, there is no way for me to continue. There's no way for me to fix this. I'm going to have to start a brand new save file to continue because I can't actually get back to the other side of this where the objectives will continue moving and everything, which is just insane. Luckily, this is only 3 minutes of gameplay time in. Yeah, but same. It's damn frustrating that this is already happening. And this is something where, like, I don't know how somebody plays the game and doesn't experience any of these bugs. I ran into these on PC, on PlayStation 5, on 2 separate PlayStation 5 consoles that I tried the game on. The one down here and the one up in the theater room. Both of them have all of these bugs. So if I put my tinfoil hat on, I have to wonder, did other people run into this too? And just not mention it or not think it was a big deal? Or did they listen to what the developers said when the devs were like, oh no, this is going to be patched. Don't worry about it. It's totally going to be fixed. And they just didn't mention it? I don't know, but I don't think it's very likely that I'm the only person that ran into this stuff. I think other people did. They just didn't talk about it. Because how else do you explain it? I mean, yeah, I don't know how else you explain it, frankly. So it's my conspiracy theory for the day. At least it helps with content. Yeah. But then at the same time, like, I would rather the games just work, but because like with this, now I have to deal with people constantly being like, oh, well, you're faking it for views. Like, do you think I like playing bugged out games? No, I would much rather play a game that just works properly. But, and also, how do I fake like Venom getting stuck in the tree? How do I fake the game save being broken and warping me underneath the water line in an unplayable area? Like, You're giving me way too much credit. I'm just gonna be honest. You're giving me way too much credit. Let's see. Blue Kaka, thank you for the $5 super chat. Very generous. Thank you, my friend. Hey, Luke, do you think Liza P has a chance at winning Game of the Year, or at least being nominated? It has to be the most optimized game I've played in recent memory. It is very, very well optimized. Yeah, I think I can't even think off the top of my head of any bugs I ran into. I think it's very, very well optimized, and it runs great. I agree. As for winning Game of the Year, if we're talking about the Game Awards, I don't think so. I think the only real contenders are Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom. That's my personal expectation. I think those are the only two seriously in the running. I mean, there will be other nominees, of course, but I don't think they have any chance of winning. It's going to be Baldur's Gate or Tears of the Kingdom. As for like independent people giving it Game of the Year, I think absolutely it'll win some of them. And I think it should. It's very well done. Maybe Mario Wonder. Again, I just think if you're a Nintendo fan, I think you're more likely to vote for Tears of the Kingdom over Mario Wonder in that survey that they'll send out to journalists and stuff. So that's my expectation. Have I heard of Halo Reborn? No, I've not. What is that? Do I think Spider-Man 2 has a chance to win it? Again, at the Game Awards, I don't think so. It will win some Game of the Year awards, but I don't think it'll win the Game of the Year award. Let's see. Let's see. Hey, look, there's a rather weird error in your last video about Alan Wake. Maybe you can correct it with the text at 11:51. You talk about how good the ray tracing looks in the game, but it wasn't using ray tracing. Which segment? I can pull that up. Do. Oh, I see what happens. Oh, I see what you mean. I'm pretty sure what happened is right here. You can kind of see the frame skip, but I think Jacob cut it because when you change the ray tracing preset, it stutters slightly. Because you see my whole face changes. And then like you see how it goes from ray tracing and then quality is here. So there's a cut right here. And then it also is over in the gameplay tab. So what happened is there's a cut here because when you turn it on ray tracing, the game kind of stalls out for a second while it loads the ray tracing. And instead of keeping that like 5-second pause of silence in the video, Jacob cut that out, which is why it seems that there's a stutter, but ray tracing does get turned on, which you can see here, the difference. So I agree. It looks like I just backed out of the menu, but there is a cut there and it is turned on. But I totally see what you mean. It does look like I'm just backing out of this real quick. But yeah, there's a cut there. But you can see how different the lighting is. The reflections all change. But yeah, there's a cut there. Ray tracing was turned on. You can see it turned on here. But that's a good catch. It does totally look like I just backed out of the menu. You're fine. You're fine. It's a sneaky cut. It's a sneaky cut. But yeah, good catch. Do you think Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League will be the final nail in the coffin for forcing narrative studios to create live service games? I pray it is. But we know that there's at least... Actually, we don't know that. Ignore that I said we know that. There is probably at least one more instance of a big studio at PlayStation being heavily encouraged to work on a live service thing. So, I mean, maybe like this is the end of them greenlighting projects but there's still going to be some stuff in the works. I'm playing Lies of P as I watch the stream. I'm obsessed. Yeah, dude, I love it too. I love it too. I have very high hopes for the Lies of P team. Yeah, dude, they won everybody over. I think they really showed they know what they're doing. They really showed it. Mario Wonder is a great game, but I don't think a simple 2D platformer game can get Game of the Year compared to competition. Well, and I also just think it's a matter of it's a matter of popularity too. I mean, a lot of these people, I think they should consider what games were loved by the public. I mean, like, yeah, Starfield was not critically that successful. It didn't like blow people away with 10s out of 10s across the board. But a lot of people did love it. And I think that should count for something. Just like in the opposite direction, if Deathloop gets amazing 10 out of 10 scores, but the public in general is kind of like, eh. I think that should probably pull it down a little bit. Like, I do think public perception matters. The Last of Us was axed. It's put on ice right now. It's on ice right now. That's my understanding. So they're reworking it. They're trying to rework stuff. But okay, I'm going to just say this because this is super cringe to me. They were the ones, Bungie, the guys that just had, like, they missed their revenue targets by 45%. They're the experts that Sony brought in to shut down the Last of Us game. It really makes you wonder if the Last of Us Factions was actually going to be like beloved by fans and people were going to be super obsessed with it. But then Bungie came in and was like, actually, guys, it doesn't look like Destiny enough. When actually that's a really good thing that it was going to be so different from Destiny. It makes me really wonder how much, whether we should consider these guys really experts in the live service field. Yes, Destiny 2 has generally, over the whole history of its existence, been a success, but they're kind of screwing it up in the end stages. I mean, right now they're really struggling to keep it going, and that's demonstrated by missing their revenue targets by almost half, which is not just like a little trip. Again, like that is, you know what? Let me show you exactly what it's like. Let me show you exactly what it's like. Hold on. Oh my God, I have to clean this keyboard so badly. Okay, this is Bungie trying to deliver their financial results to the executives so that they don't get downsized.
I'm serious about this stuff. I'm up the night before, pressing garlic and dicing whole tomatoes.
And they're like, oh God, this isn't good. This is bad. How did we drop it? How did we drop the ball so bad? How did we spill it all over the carpet? What did we do? I don't know. And so then they're like, wait, we can save this. We can save it. We'll put out a couple of expansions. We'll do that. And then all the while,
chilies.
like,
it's a recipe.
That's the whole thing. This is Bungie trying to save Destiny at this point. And it's like if Gordon Ramsay being PlayStation, or rather, let's just say like the corporate executives, it's like them hiring Kevin Malone to come in and give chili advice to Gordon Ramsay. It just doesn't make sense. It's like, guys, maybe like he might be good at making chili, but like he just screwed it up pretty badly. Maybe give it a minute. You know? Do they have good competition at the moment? Do you mean like the like Bungie, or do you mean like, I would say there's plenty of live service shooters to play for Destiny. Okay, I mean, I think there's plenty of live service shooters. As for like particular direct comparisons to Destiny, I'm not sure. You could say, yeah, maybe Warframe. You could say some stuff like that, but like, granted, it's not like there's not a flood of them. However, that might be because people are getting kind of burnt out on the formula. In which case, there's no real saving Destiny. If people are honestly burnt out on the formula, there's not a whole lot to to do. You know, like if people decide that they're sick and tired of playing Madden games, there's not really a lot you can do to save Madden. Like no amount of new expansions or player rosters will save it. If people are sick of the formula, you're just like, you're screwed. So, but I will say Warframe, I've done some work with those guys. They sponsored me to go try the new expansion, the Paradox expansion that they did, the Duviri Paradox, I believe it was called. And I was wildly impressed. It's like, this is a free expansion. I was very impressed by how that worked. It was very crazy to me that just like was free content that they were putting out. It's wild to me. But so anyway, who knows? Luke, what about Fortnite? There's been times where the fan base was tired of it and they always seem to win them back. The thing with Fortnite is that, like, I kid you not, and I cannot make this clear enough, there is so much freaking content in Fortnite. It's hard for somebody to understand if they're not actually like playing it, because Fortnite has not just like the battle royale modes. There are build modes. There's like, you remember that game Only Up that was everywhere for like a week? There's modes based around that. There are like Among Us type modes. There's like, it is an end all be all game for a lot of people, and for especially a lot of kids and teenagers, because it's free, where they can just play endless stuff. Like there's always something to do. And that's why, yeah, it's like Roblox, or Roblox is like it. Like there's just so much to do. And so when you're sick and tired of the battle royale, you can just move in and play a different mode. They can still keep you in. There's racing modes, all sorts of stuff. And not to mention that they really shake it up. I mean, each season changes the map, and it also changes all of the weapons. There's all sorts of different like movement abilities. And like for me, I can't stand the build modes because it's just a bunch of 12-year-olds that frantically build stuff up like crazy. But I like the no build mode. Like I do enjoy the regular battle royale that's just about gunplay and tactics and how you angle in and your gunplay. Like I enjoy that part of it. So I play that mode and I have a great time. No build is legit great fun. I played with my little brother the other night, and we had a good time. We had a really good time. I'll be real. Yeah, it was fun. You ever think of having viewer game nights, Jackbox, Among Us, etc.? Oh yeah. We've done some stuff where we've done like member only streams on YouTube. Now we'll have to see how that works doing co-streams with Twitch. I don't know if we just do sub only, where only subs and members can join. I'm not sure. Luke, how about you grow a man beard first? Do I look like I can grow a man beard? No. But yeah, I'd like to do to do viewer game nights. I think that'd be fun. Play Darktide with us. I do like me some Darktide, I'll tell you what. Do you want to see what I just built? This, again, I wish. I regret altering the focus. This is Kairos the Fate Weaver. He has to be painted still. But Kairos the Fate Weaver. Oh, wait, I can turn on this light. Hold on. Kairos the Fate Weaver. Oh, it's kind of blown out. I'm sorry. Isn't he sexy? But there's that. Hold on. Please hold. Then there's some more. Are you ready? A Wraith Knight. Ooh, baby. He's big and scary. He's horrifying. And I'm just showing you all my toys. And then Shalaxi, who is like a he, she, father, mother, half male, half female. Very androgynous, like has one titty and then no others, like very, very confusing. This one will make you question things. And then this is probably my favorite. The What's the best way to do this? Hold on, let me turn the brightness of the light down, because you really do have to see just how gorgeous he is. Where's the knob? There. Okay. Like, look at this guy. Isn't he just disgusting? Like, oh, baby. Oh. You want to know his name? His name is the Great Unclean One. And I think it's very accurate. I think it's very accurate. So, those have been my projects recently. I have wondered about doing, like, what it could be like to do, like, Warhammer nights. I think that could be fun. I think that could be super fun. Papa Nurgle is the best chaos god. Yeah. Well, and he has all these little guys that like sit on his back and stuff. It's pretty cute. Basically, Reddit Gamer's the Great Unclean One. Kinda. So there's a stereotype with gamers that they are kind of like smelly, that they don't really shower that much, that they are giga nerds. And I was like, I think these are all just like exaggerations. I don't think that's fair. I went into a Warhammer store. Like an actual store owned by the Warhammer company. And there you can buy models, you can play games with people, you can have a really good time. But oh my God. It was not an exaggeration. It was real. it was real. It was very real. Also just like personal hygiene in general out the window. But like these people, they're very, very sweet. They're funny people. A lot of them are really fun. Some of them have absolutely no social awareness. Like they will stand like inches from your face and not understand that that makes you uncomfortable. They have like very poor social skills. And I mean, I guess it makes sense. You know, the way it was described to me is that Warhammer 40K is a game that if you want to get really good at it, people who have like Asperger's really excel at it and are really, really good at it because they can hyperfixate on it and learn all the data sheets and memorize everything, and they can get really, really into it. But like if you're not like that, or I guess the downside of that is that sometimes those individuals can also struggle with the personal hygiene side of things. And this was very clear. When somebody who has not brushed their teeth in a month, with also having not showered in weeks, when they come up and stand inches from your face, it can be a little bit shocking, a little jarring. So, wonder if Henry Cavill smells like that. That's what I want to know. Like, do you smell like a Warhammer nerd? Like, wouldn't it be so funny if he was actually just like, he looks great, but in private, he's actually just like a total slob. That'd be so funny. Yeah, I love me some Warhammer. I love me some Warhammer. Yeah. Dark Sides make me want to get into Warhammer. Hope the show will be amazing. Me too. It's a good time. I mean, you can have a great time with it. I recommend it, but it is a big investment. There's a lot that goes into it. You don't have to go this hard into it. I mean, you don't have to have like meta lists or multiple armies and stuff. Because like this is for my Thousand Sons. This is for the Eldari. This is for Chaos Demons. This is Chaos Demons as well. So you don't need 3 different armies. And if you only have one, it's going to be pricey, but it won't be like breaking the bank. But yeah, it's one of those hobbies. It can be as expensive as you want it to be, basically. You know? How's the Dark Tide game? I've heard good things. Yeah, I've had a great time with it. I really like it, honestly. Yeah, I love me some Dark Tide. I'll tell you what, I love me some Dark Tide. Epos Vox just released a video about ultra casting. in or from OBS. Oh, I'll have to watch it. I love Post Fox's stuff. Watch a bunch of his stuff. Yeah, it's been very tragic to me that AV1 is not supported for co-streaming because Twitch does not support it. So like you can do it, but you won't be able to stream on Twitch. Doesn't work. So what are you gonna do? What's my most anticipated game? What's my most anticipated game? I mean, setting aside GTA 6, which is probably everybody's most anticipated game, does it have to have been announced? Is that a requirement? I don't know. Well, that's the thing is like GTA 6 has not been officially announced. I mean, obviously we've seen leaks and they've acknowledged the leaks and been like, yes, we're working on it. So we've seen that stuff. But as for announced, that's the thing. A lot of the games I'm most excited for, we know are coming, but haven't been officially revealed. Oh God. Why did my camera turn off? What did I do? Did this one? No, this one's still on. What? No, wait, did I just kill my camera? Did my camera just die? Live? Did that just happen? Huh. Camera overheated? It's never done that before because we're only doing 1080p. If it's on 4K, it'll overheat in like 20 minutes, but yeah. That was weird. Okay, I'm thrown off by this. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess the camera's just dead. Maybe paranormal. Maybe. I don't know, dude. That was weird. I've been worried that these things are just that the cameras, there we go. I've been worried that the cameras are going out because in case you guys missed it, when we moved in here, this camera, which is like in a really good condition, is just a brick. It just doesn't work at all anymore. There's no power. There's no turning it on. There's nothing. No amount of new batteries or AC adapters, nothing fixes it. It's just dead. Which sucks because I paid like $1,200 for this camera. But it's just dead. And I have no idea what could have killed it. And these things have been acting weird too. So I don't know if like while we moved here, there was like a big static something that hit them, that fried them or what. But out of nowhere, like all of my cameras are having problems. And it's really, really weird. Yeah, it's the chemtrails. Yeah, it's really weird. Straight up, if you want $100 for this camera and you can fix it, I mean, I'd probably take you up on it. Because I'm like, right now it's worth $0 to me. I've been wanting to try the Blackmagic cameras for a while, but I haven't done it because all of my lenses are for these Sony full frame cameras. So I haven't wanted to try it. But if all my cameras are dying, what am I going to do? I don't have much of a choice. Damn. I don't know. Yeah, Kyle, I think that whole thing with the Bungie thing, initially I was like, I don't know if like they deserved it. This is so weird. But hearing that the studio missed revenue targets by 45%, I'm honestly shocked they didn't cut more than 8%. And I feel really bad for the employees, of course, because it's not their individual faults that the game is struggling. But if you're working for any company and the company's profits, or rather revenues, drop by half, which potentially causes profits to drop by 100%. Because like I said earlier, if you are expecting to make $100 and you have $80 in expenses, you're expecting $20 of profit. If you only bring in $55, so you miss your target, your revenue target by 45%, that didn't reduce your profits by 45%. It reduced your profits by 100%. In fact, it reduced them into the negative, like minus 100%. You lost $25, right? So to go from like making money to all of a sudden losing lots of it is not great. And at that point, I can understand why management is like, we got to figure this out. Like that something is not working. And I don't know how they fix it, honestly. Bungie OnlyFans. Jesus Christ. I don't know how they fix it at this point, because their savior game was supposed to be this marathon title that's been delayed a year into January or into 2025. I think they initially said January, but we'll see when it comes out in 2025. So their saving grace is not coming for another year to year and a half. And if they're already losing money, like if they have no profitability right now, what are you going to do? Upper management and executives ignored devs that wanted to fix game, which is ridiculous. And now people are canceling their pre-orders for the new expansion that got pushed back to June of 24. They ignored the devs that wanted to fix the game. Yeah, well, I mean, if that's been confirmed, then absolutely that's a problem. Either way, I mean, clearly they've not prioritized fixing the game. They've only prioritized new content that they can charge for, and that's certainly an issue. And I think they're seeing it now. But I think what fans are not realizing, perhaps, is that by going in and like boycotting the expansions, by canceling their pre-orders and stuff, that's going to lead to more downsizing. That will only lead to more people being fired. If you're upset that they're firing people, the way you get them to stop firing people is not by refusing to buy their products, unfortunately. Because if you stop buying their products, they'll just fire more people. Like, because right now, they're probably not making money with Bungie for another year and a half. That's millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars lost. And they just paid out $3.7 billion to buy them. You know, it just doesn't work. Do you post these live streams as VODs after? Yeah, so they also get cut up. So like you can still watch this on YouTube afterwards, but it'll also get posted in stream clips and stuff. Yeah, Dev, so Bungie is coming out with Marathon, which is their new game over... it's like a reboot of an old game from way back when. I don't really understand it, but people are apparently excited for it. I don't see what there is to be excited for. We've seen next to nothing about it, but some people are really excited for it. What are you guys even talking about? People talking about hot tub streams and OnlyFans? Jesus. I hope everyone's having or behaving well here. Just spent an hour writing a 1,200 word comment on a 3-hour YouTube VOD about Star Citizen. This is why I love Star Citizen fans, man. They go hard. They write actual essays about things that they like. I love it. I love it. Are you a concert person? You seem like a concert person. I'm not really sure what that means, but the last concert I went to, I think, was Rhett and Link. Like 4 or 5 years ago. And before that, my first concert ever was Weird Al. But those are the only 2 concerts I've ever been to. They were really fun, though. I even met Rhett and Link. I have the picture, I think, on Instagram. I don't get on Instagram ever. Do I even have Instagram installed? Oh, I do. Who knew? Let me go all the way down. By the way, is Tfue still retired? I think he is. I just saw the picture or the the video pop up that I did of that. Where's the Rhett and Link picture? It was super fun. What shocked me is that they are super tall. Like, they are very, very tall. Even Link, like, everyone knows Rhett is tall. Link is even, like, freakishly tall. He's like 6'2". Where the hell is the picture? Oh my god. That's from our trip to New Orleans. New Orleans. What is happening? Is this just not? Did I not post the picture? Maybe I didn't. Oh no, here it is. Here it is. This was June 24th of 2019. Yeah. Met the boys. Like, I'm 6 foot. Rhett is very tall. Link is like 6'2". And they're like kind of hunching over to like get around me. They're very, very, very tall. It's just funny. I was like, I was expecting one of them to be tall, but man. Tfue has like 100 million in the bank. If I was him, I'd still be retired. Isn't he only like 27? Oh yeah. No, he's doing good. Honestly, like, if you get to the point where you have, what would it be? Oh my god, my keyboard is so sticky. I have to tear this whole thing open and clean it. It's really bad. If you have 3 million in the bank, your average return in like a decent year is about 6%. If you have 3 million in the bank, that spits out $180,000 just on interest. So if he has like, I don't know what he has, but if he has, say, 50, like my zero key on my numpad is so sticky that it doesn't even want to press. If you have, say, 50 million and you want to live off of 6% of it, like, you still are taking in $3 million a year without losing that 50 million, without spending a penny of it, just letting it make you money. And then if you live off of just like $200,000 of it, or $100,000, whatever you do, if you're not spending $3 million in a year, that's growing. Like, that 3 million, if you only spend 100,000 of it, you have 2.9 million that goes on top of the 50 million and just starts growing off of that. Like, this is why for these young guys that make millions when they're in their 20s, as long as they don't spend it all, like XQC spends his money and gambles it away, you can make ridiculous amounts of money. 6% won't last forever. That's absolutely true, but that's why you shouldn't just invest in like one thing. And also, if you're on this level, if you have like $50 million, you should be hiring a money manager. You should be going to like Charles Schwab or somebody and having them manage it for you. Thing with Charles Schwab, they won't even talk to you if you make, or if you have less than 500,000 to deposit with them, but they're used to handling like millions and millions of dollars. So if you have a portfolio of like 50 million or $100 million, they know what to do with it, and they won't just put it into something that's going to make 6. They're going to buy, like, they're going to do all sorts of stuff with it where you're not just making 6. And this is why also like really wealthy people will go to hedge funds, which have like 15% average returns or 20% average returns. And at that point, you're dealing with some crazy increases to your wealth. XQC also makes a lot of money. Yeah. Well, and that's why it can work. But it's like, people ask, how the hell did Mike Tyson go broke when he was making tens of millions of dollars every fight? And he went broke because he was spending tens of millions of dollars buying tigers, golden toilets, multiple mansions, private jets, all sorts of stuff. Like, he'd buy fancy cars, drive it around the city, and then he'd just forget where he parked it. And it was stolen and stripped and everything. Like, granted, Tyson also, yeah, I don't think Tyson handled his own money, but he spent his own money. He also had managers that kind of screwed him over too, which certainly did not help. But Tyson spent the money like it was burning a hole in his pocket. But the danger with XQC, yeah, well, XQC right now has a steady income, but if anything ever happens, and he doesn't have that anymore, or if his popularity dies down all of a sudden, because it can and will happen to everybody, he doesn't have that steady income anymore. And I just hope for his sake that he's also investing and saving a lot of his money. Because Tyson would have said the same thing. Tyson's like, I can still fight, man. I can still fight. I still fight. I still get lots of tens of millions of dollars. Be no problem. And at the time he was right, but then he got older and it wasn't the same anymore. And with XQC, I think like a 40-year-old XQC is just going to be sad. I don't know how entertaining that would be, but you know. Jeff, good to see you, my friend. So when's the next Gamba stream? How did you get a recording of Tyson so fast? I do think XQC is smarter than going broke. He has hinted in the past that he has an investor. Good. I mean, if you're making the kind of money he makes and he doesn't have an investor, he's insane. And like, I would have zero sympathy for him. Even somebody like Asmongold, he, as far as I know, he mainly just puts his money into, like, he does have a couple of businesses he owns, but a lot of it just goes into an account and then he just sits on it, which at least he's not spending it. I mean, XQC, the reason so many people respect him is because he makes ridiculous amounts of money, but he just kind of is chill. He lives in the same place he's lived for years and years. He lives on like $1 steaks, you know? And then there's Boogie, who, no joke, in this documentary that launched yesterday, Boogie admits that between, I think it was 2018 and 2020, maybe it was 21, I don't know. But it was from 2018 onward to today, he has spent $200,000 on escorts. What? I know, like, yeah, but he didn't pay off his house. He spent $200,000. But that's the thing is, like, when you're making decent money, you never think it's going to go away. And that's the problem, is that a lot of these guys make ridiculous amounts of money and are like, wow, I'm doing good. Or they have a lot in savings. And Boogie's thing is that he had a bunch of money in Ethereum, and it shot up during like the crypto boom from like 2018 to 2020. And so he's like, wow, I'm super wealthy. I'm a millionaire now. I feel amazing. And so he spent $200,000 of it, and then it crashed, and now he has no money. You know? Imagine finding out that it was one escort, but super expensive one. Well, the way he described it in the documentary is that he said that he had, of course, never been able to bang LA 10s. And he's like, but now I have money. And now I got to sleep with a bunch of LA 10s. So I feel like, you know, I got what I was looking for. They got the money they were looking for. Feeling good. And I'm like, bro, yeah, Charlie Sheen, 200K. Those are rookie numbers. Yeah, Charlie Sheen back in the day with 2.5 Men, I think he was making $250,000 per episode. Like, he was doing okay. But even those guys, you know, they're like, oh, I have steady income streams coming in now. The show eventually ends. Like, hopefully they negotiate, you know, money for reruns and stuff like that. But you can never assume that money will always be coming in. You always have to be ready for it to go away. Yeah. You got to be top tier in to make bank and get zero bitches. You're not wrong. Like, if you have a lot of money and nobody's, like, people still aren't interested in you, something's wrong. Look at some of these, like, billionaires who have crazy girlfriends. Like, you're like, okay, maybe they love them for their personality, but I think we all know there's something else going on. You know, I think we all know there's something else going on. Like, come on. It's like when you hear that Bill Gates has like 15 mistresses or something. And you're like, Bill Gates, really? Billiam Gates has mistresses. I wonder if it's just about his looks or his sense of humor. You know, like it's like I'm starting to get a feeling there might be something else going on here. There might be some other factor that they like, you know? Oh man. What documentary? Oh yeah, no, there's a new documentary with Boogie that just came out yesterday. Just look up Boogie 2988 documentary. It's really well done. Really well done by, I think his name is Michael Klum. I'll be watching his stuff. If he starts doing all these documentaries, if he goes and does one on like Wings and oh my God, if he could do one on DSP, good freaking luck, dude. I don't think DSP would even let you do it. I don't think he'd even let you in the building. He wouldn't want the chance that all of his stuff gets out. Let's see. Nashman, also thank you for the £2. Hola, Luke. What's your Mong out game? I'm not sure what Mong out. Do you mean like chill out or your like veg out game? For that, it's one of these like simulator type games. It's something like City Skylines or Anno or something like that. I love those games. Robert Kraft just got married to someone who's like 50 years younger than him. Yeah, that's where I'm like that one, clearly it's all about the money. But as for like Boogie, his girlfriend's 20, I think 29 years younger than him. He's 49, she's 20. And like, I think we all know, like with Kraft, we know that there's money is a consideration. But with Boogie, like he's broke and unpopular and people kind of hate on him all the time. Like, I don't know what could motivate that. Maybe they just do honestly genuinely like each other. I don't know. So how much do you earn every month? 50K. Wow. What do you do? What do you do? I'm a wife. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He used to be a powerful force in the gaming space. Yeah, it is funny. In the documentary, they do a good job of showing the side-by-side, like what he used to be. He used to be a very positive force. It was always like, my life is tough because I'm morbidly obese and I was abused as a child, but I'm going to make the best of my life and I'm thankful for being here and I love all of you for watching. And he made you just, it was inspirational because you're like, he has had a tough life, but he's still keeping a positive outlook and positive attitude. And now, like they show afterwards, they show the clips of him talking now, and everything he says is just so depressing. It's like when his wife left and he got his new teeth and he started losing some weight, and then he spent 200 grand on escorts and he made money through crypto. It's like he became somebody else. He got really full of himself for a while, and people just stopped liking it. People were like, this isn't you, Boogie. This isn't the Boogie we fell in love with. And now, even if he falls back and even if he becomes recentered or something, it's just not, I don't think there's any saving it. Boogie 2988 is who we're talking about. Used all the new money to buy new skill points and put it all in ego. Yeah. Yeah. But even then, like here's an honest question for everybody. Darkside Phil, the other lol cow that we talk about often, he allegedly has spent over $100,000 on a WWE Candy Crush spin-off game where he buys like loot boxes to get sweaty JPEGs and PNGs of wrestlers that he can use in this Candy Crush-like game. He has spent over $100,000, allegedly, in that game. What's better? Who do we make fun of more? The person who spent 200 grand on escorts, or the person who spent 100 grand on a mobile game to get sweaty pictures of WWE wrestlers? I don't know. I honestly don't know. The thing with like Boogie is at least Boogie isn't Like nowadays he's doing it, but at the time he spent 200 grand on escorts. He wasn't really like e-begging in the same way, but like DSP is an e-beggar, you know? At least Boogie got laid. You're not wrong. I mean, at least he got some poontang. It was just like, man. Yeah, I think the WWE thing is worse, especially because like DSP will frame it as that like he needs money to pay bills and all this, and that he can't afford to do his stuff. And so like I get the vibe that he I just think he's more of a scammer, whereas Boogie is just kind of sad and stupid with his money. A bunch of people put a bunch of money into Counter-Strike Gambit. Yeah, no, they did. It's insane. Oh, they did. Yeah, I guess technically they did both get effed. You're right. You're technically right. I used to enjoy watching the This Is How You Don't Play for Phil, but now I can't stand to watch. Now it's just kind of sad, honestly. Like a lot of the stuff you'll see now is just sad. Like there was this whole segment where like he played Breath of the Wild and he can't figure out how the lightning mechanic works in Tears of the Kingdom. Like this is a guy who is a professional gamer and bear in mind makes well over $100,000 a year doing this. And watch him try to play Tears of the Kingdom. And bear in mind, right after this, he's going to get on his phone and spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on a WWE mobile game.
You're kidding me! Riding full speed, the lightning hones in on you and it hits you? You see, this isn't fun. I'm sorry. Randomly, a glue monster appears, takes all of your health. Oh, you don't have enough stamina to climb something standard at the beginning of the game. Oh, lightning just hones in on you and kills you. How?
Lightning just works like lightning. I can't outrun the lightning, guys. Like, what? It just... Jesus Christ.
This is fun. It's bullshit.
Bruh, just unequip the metal armor so you don't get hit by the lightning. It literally tells you that you're about to get shocked. Plus,
it does. And he played Breath of the Wild where the same thing is there. Like, oh my God, it hurts. And there's so many examples of this, of just like random things that are so basic that he just cannot grasp. It's initially it's like sad because you're like, oh no, but then you realize that this guy, like, look, this one stream he was doing, he got tipped $155. He got, I don't know how many super chats, but a bunch of super chats. He has over 700 members or subs if you're on Twitch. Like, he's making decent money doing these streams. And he's like, the game's terrible. Like, it's crazy.
Why make it so hard? Why make it so annoying? I have to have a stream audience to tell me how to do it, or else I'd be sitting here messing around, wasting my goddamn time.
Imagine Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom being too complicated for you. Like, what? I think he intentionally does this. There's been times where, like, he's hamming it up. Like with Street Fighter, sometimes he'll ham it up. But he's been doing this for 15 years, and he's done this with like every game he's ever played. I don't think it's an act. I think this is just honestly how he is. Like there was one stream where he, like, the community wasn't really there. Nobody was really chatting. It was a really slow stream. And he was trying to solve one of these Tears of the Kingdom puzzles by himself. And it was one of those where there's two rails that go down to the shrine. And then there's building materials next to it. And there's like the platform, and you're supposed to kind of build like a T that then slides down the thing to the platform, right? So the crossbar sits on the two rails and then glides down those rails and leads you to where you need to go. Like, because nobody was telling him how to do it, I kid you not, he sat there for half an hour trying to figure it out, the whole time complaining about the puzzles being too difficult and the game being designed poorly by Nintendo and all this. Like, this is just him. Pretty yeah, as a former DSP viewer, this is him in his entirety. This was pre-DSP streams, of course. Yeah.
No, I don't want to do that. Nintendo, it's 2023. People want to play your fucking games, not dick around for endless hours. So let people play the fucking game. Why you have to make everything so complicated, man? It pisses me off. They think that this is fucking modern gameplay. It's not. It's shitty.
There was also, I forgot about this. There was also the time, and then I'll move on. He rage quit Kirby, like Kirby's Great Adventure, whatever that game was called. One of the Kirby games, he rage quit because he thought it was too difficult. Like actual children's games that he rage quits because they're too difficult. It's just amazing, man. Man. Forgotten Land. Yeah, it was one of those. I don't really know Kirby games, but yeah, one of the Kirby games. Yeah, he rage quit because it was too difficult. You can't make this stuff up. You can't. You really can't. Has he played any Souls-like games? Yeah, but he goes and like, in order to play them, for one, lots of people tune into the like Dark Souls games or Lies of P because, of course, it's a hard game, so they're expecting him to rage a lot, and he does. But he will like look up whatever the like broken meta is or like the speed run strat is for the boss, and he'll pretend like he didn't. He'll pretend like he just figured it out himself. Like when you're playing Bloodstarved Beast and you throw the beast blood pellets in to give you the amplified thing on the combo, which multiplies damage output based on how many times you transform the weapon. And then you also throw out the pungent blood cocktail into the corner, which aggroes it to that corner so you get free hits in, and he'll just be like, yeah man, I figured it out. Snort. Like, it's just crazy. DSP is the kind of guy to put a square block in a circular hole, yeah, and then blame the circular hole for being cut wrong. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Yeah, I've seen some of Bill Burr's stuff. Yeah. To be fair, I rage quit the Lego games all the time. That's funny. Lego games are crazy though. Also, in previous times of YouTube, you could easily create a persona, but people get more comfortable to show who they really are. And with live streams, it's harder to hide. And then we all see the truth. Yeah, well, and I kid you not, like he does 2 streams a day usually. Yeah, he's also the one that jerked off while on camera. Yeah, that was because he didn't realize the camera was on. That is also him. Yeah, it is just like on live streams, I don't think you can really hide who you are. People will figure it out eventually. Like if you're a bad person, people will figure it out. If you're a really nice person, if you're genuine, they'll see that too. But I think when you're live, especially as much as some of these guys are live, where they're live like 8 to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, you're going to see who they are, you know? You're going to see who they are. I know it's an old case, but did Twitch say why they banned Dr. Disrespect? No, they didn't. Dr. Disrespect, he sued them and they settled it out of court, I think in mediation. And as part of the settlement, he was not allowed to say why they banned him, even though they told him. So yeah, nobody knows officially but him and his lawyers and stuff. But apparently the settlement was decent enough that he left happy. He made however many millions off of it. I don't know why they hated having him associated with their platform so much. But yeah. Did he have an excuse for the jerking off getting caught? No, he just said he forgot the camera was on. Because his streams, his streams are set up like this. So like if we're doing this segment or this scene, I have all sorts of different little scenes set up so I can switch between them. I have this game cam scene that's set up separately, but he will go and like scale this up and make it full screen like this manually to do the full frame face cam. And then when he's done with that and he needs to do gameplay, he'll go and he'll like scale it down manually like this. And oh my God, this is so annoying. And go like this to get it back to where it should be. Right? And so he does it all manually. Let me just put it back where it was. There we go. Which is a terrible way of doing it. Like it makes it way harder on yourself, but it just shows that he doesn't really know what he's doing. But that's how he'll do it, or did it back in the day. And so one time he thought he had turned the camera off like this at the end of the stream. Turns out he didn't. He left it up in like the top corner like this. And he's turns the stream on during the pre-show, kind of like we do here with the starting soon screen. And then he just did his business and didn't realize that his face was in the corner. And so he comes on, he's like, okay, let's do this. Oh, camera was on the whole time, huh? Oops. And again, like, I don't want to be mean to somebody who doesn't deserve it, but he like regularly scams his viewers. And so I don't feel that bad when you scam your viewers. I think at that point I'm allowed to make fun of you. When you tell them you need money and donations and tips and stuff to pay your bills because things are that tight monetarily, and then you turn around and in a single night spend $1,500 on a WWE mobile game, at that point, we get to make fun of you. Like, I think that opens the floodgates because you're lying to your audience. You're lying to the people giving you money. And when you take money from people under false pretenses, that's a scam. It is. It just is. So if he's acting like money's really tight right now, but he's spending thousands of dollars on a mobile game he doesn't need to spend money on, that's his problem. Luke, can you make a controversial 7 out of 10 shirt? I already have a few tees, but I want that one. I could see doing that.
We're aiming for a controversial 7 out of 10.
I think that could be fun. We could do that. I'll contact Unscripted, see if he wants to collab on it. And get him paid for it too, because he's the one that made that video. Let's see. Shout out to the chess club. Yeah, for real. Shout out to the chess club. I was on the chess club. I was the team captain of the chess club. Sure was. How was Halloween? It was good. It was super chill. We walked around during the day to the different events in like Old Town and let the kids go trick-or-treating that way. And then at night, you know, the kids came to the house and we didn't go out with the boys because it was like 15 degrees outside and Ori and Loki's costumes aren't very warm. So we stayed in, but yeah. What's my game of the year? Baldur's Gate for sure. Would you ever do a video on the Planet of the Apes game from like 2018? It had Andy Serkis doing mocap and voices, and it was like a Telltale style game. It looked really cool, but it leaked early and then fell into oblivion, and it's just all really odd. Interesting. I'm not familiar with that, but I'll have Jacob check it out, and if it's something that we could do a video on, I could see tackling that. That could be cool. Will we ever get a 4-hour stream? I've done like, I think our longest was like 6 or 7 hours. I don't remember what we were doing, but yeah, we've had a couple that were really, really long. For us, a lot of the time, it's just that the viewership kind of starts to trail off, and then we're like, you know, I'm like, oh, I could probably like record a video right now, so we'll stop here and move on to the next thing. So it happens sometimes. You hear about Fortnite stuff? Pretty smart that they're going to get all their OG players to come back and it'll make them a crap ton of money. Yeah, bringing back the OG map is good. If Warzone did that with Verdansk, they'd make money. You know, I would go back and try Warzone again if they brought back Verdansk. Oh, by the way, I watched that Five Nights at Freddy's movie last night. I understand people like Five Nights at Freddy's. I get it. I understand it. I appreciate it. I thought that movie, just as a movie though, was pretty bad. Like tons of plot holes. Really weird, like pacing. It ends out of nowhere. Like I kept waiting for the big like reveals and the big like shifts in narratives. And it was just like so bland. Yeah, it was for tweens. And I get that. I just don't know why you make a movie that's supposed to be like a horror movie, a Halloween horror movie, but then keep it so placid that it's basically just not interesting. Like, I just thought, Granted, I'm not the target audience. I think the target audience was honestly like 12 and 13-year-olds. But yeah, I mean, it was just, it started strong. I thought it was interesting. I thought, okay, this is cool. But especially the last like third, I was just like, what? What are we doing? First of all, the police officer, she is terrible at her job. And then they kind of explain it, but still really, really strange, felt super contrived. And then like the whole thing with the animatronics, like befriending, it was just all over the place. Was just really, really weird. Am I stupid for not understanding half the movie? No, I don't think you are. But again, I think that shows the target audience. It was targeted at people that are obsessed about the games already and dig into all of the lore. And so like when they reveal the guy's name, and his name is whatever, Ashcroft or Ashton or whatever it is, that got like people going, oh no, in the theater on launch night. And it was because in the lore, that name, Afton, that's it, Mike Afton. In the lore, that means something. But to everybody else in the theater, they're like, what the hell does that mean? Like, what? And then they reveal, oh, well, he was actually this guy that you saw, and this guy, because of, you know, he's purple guy, did this, and then Springtrap comes out because he's the yellow bunny. And, you know, for fans, it was fun. But for anybody that is not familiarized with the lore, they were just totally baffled. Like Nikki watched it with me, and she doesn't really know the lore of FNAF, or she never saw game theory videos or anything, and the whole time she was like, what is going on? Like, what is happening? Luke, you ain't caught up on the FNAF lore? No, I think I checked out like right around the time he was doing FNAF World, I think is what it was called. That's when I totally checked out. Matt Pat and Corey Kenshin got my theater going crazy. I was surprised Markiplier wasn't in it. Markiplier was like one of the big guys that really blew that up. You know? I don't know. Shaggy was fun though. He was smart enough to say no. Mark was filming another movie. He had scheduling issues with his own movie. Oh, that's cool. At least that's cool. I don't know. I thought it was like, it's clearly fan service. I was hoping for like new stuff to be revealed or for them to show some different stuff. I was really hoping it would be spookier and scarier and more suspenseful, but there really wasn't much that was that cool. Yeah. I lost all respect for MatPat after they did that horrible video where they compared Team Fortress and Overwatch. For a guy that does extensive research, that video had none. I don't know enough about that. I don't know. I think like game theory is, for me, it was really cool back when they were doing like, could an assassin actually survive a leap of faith? I thought that's like a cool video concept. That's cool. But then it got to the point where it was just like the 16th video on a revision to FNAF lore. And at some point I just kind of checked out of it. I was like, I can't keep up with this anymore. It just didn't even really make sense. Like 23 hours ago, 10 days ago, they're still doing really good view counts and view numbers. Game theory, why you hate my theories. Sonic rings are a scam. What does that even mean? Game theory, I solved the oldest Pokemon debate. Minecraft's buried history, the 1.2 update. I mean, you can tell his audience is very young at this point. Answer the call. Welcome home. FNAF Bonnie's haunted past. Yeah, it's like all FNAF stuff, a lot of FNAF stuff. But I mean, again, millions and millions and millions and millions of views. That's why, honestly, if I wanted to make more money doing this stuff, I should really target younger audiences, because there's so many more 12-year-olds online right now than there were 5-10 years ago. You know? Isn't the FNAF lore or overly convoluted anyways. Cawthon is just making up as he goes through. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, and I remember when I was watching it, it was like 2014, and one of the frustrations people had was that he seemed to be like doing something really vague, and then he'd wait for these YouTubers to like find some fix to it or to figure something out, or make connections or build a theory, and then he would be like, oh yeah, that's totally what I was doing the whole time. Yeah, totally. And then follow that vein. And it seemed like he did that a lot with specifically game theory videos, where he would do something vague, and then Matt Pat would put out a theory, and he'd be like, you're getting closer. And in reality, he's like, that's a really good idea. I should do that. And then the next game would come out, and you have just a bunch of crap that doesn't mean anything. See how they connect it, and then be like, oh yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think. Like, this is crazy. Oh, and he also tried getting into Half-Life lore. Everyone disliked that. He tried solving who G-Man is and came to the conclusion that he is Nihilon, the Half-Life 1 end boss. Nihilanth. We actually know what he's supposed to be after the lead writer leaked the script to Half-Life 3. Oh. You don't need to change anything for your channels, Luke. You got 1 million+ views on a 3-hour critique. That's true. That's true. We did do that. Dab dab on the haters. Joe Nada, calm down. Calm down, baby. Oh. We got a long way to go, but we're getting back into it. He also got in hot water with the Undertale community. I think like the thing is, a lot of these games that have diehard fan bases, if you try to dip into it as an outsider, you'll be eaten alive. They're like piranhas. It's not easily, you can't easily gain access to those communities. There's some that you can, like, I think if you get into the Minecraft community, it's probably fairly straightforward. Same with like Fortnite or some of these others, but like trying to get into Undertale or trying to get into, you know, any of these other more niche communities, it's not going to end well. Sounds like toxic gatekeeping. Welcome to a lot of gaming. Like a lot of game communities can be like that, unfortunately. I know Assassin's Creed is kind of gatekeepy too. Yeah, there's a good chunk of the audience that wants it to be old school, like AC2 and like Brotherhood and, you know, those games. And then there's another group that really likes the newer stuff like Valhalla, Origins, and Odyssey. So there's like two factions within it, and I agree they can be a little gatekeepy. Spencer, thank you for the 2. Remnant 2 DLC trailer just dropped. Oh, sorry. Yes, I mean
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Of course. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. New Remnant DLC trailer dropped. The Awakened King.
And cries of agony. The king I once served, once counted as a friend, is no more. What remains is a true tyrant. Our world shall slip ever deeper into peril. Should we fail to put a stop to his bloodlust, will you light the way? Decide, strange one. Duty or hope?
Okay. Looks interesting. Maybe we'll check it out. I liked the base game. DMT, yeah, they changed their policy. They allow for co-streaming now, so we can stream on Twitch and YouTube and Kick as well, if you happen to like Kick as well. But I will say, no one on Kick has actually chatted. It's funny, I did like no pushing or anything on Kick. I was just like, yeah, if we're gonna co-stream, might as well toss that in there. And so yeah, we're technically on Kick right now. Yes, technically. Yeah, it co-streams to all of it. We could also co-stream on Twitter. Twitter does support it as well. Sure does. Cheering for you on Twitch. Love the YouTube content. That's awesome, DMT. And yeah, the nice thing about this is that you can watch wherever you prefer. And, you know, if we end up getting to the point where one platform works better, we can do that. But as for right now, co-streaming is great. Do you have an audience on Kick? I think people just go there for rated R streams. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's most of it, or gambling streams. But I figured, you know, if we're co-streaming, it's, for me, literally a toggle button. So might as well just flip the toggle. It doesn't really matter to me. Nice keyboard. Thank you. I spilled a margarita on it. And so now all of the keys are super sticky. So I have to fix that after the stream. You know what? I'm real here. How do you keep up with the chat on all platforms? Restream actually has a tool for that where it can display all of the chats at the same time. I can't put it on screen. I can't merge the chats for you because Twitch does not allow that. So I'm watching all of the streams at the same time. But yeah. Spilled a margarita. Yeah. Spilled the margarita last night. Oh, you think I was pulling a DSP? That'd be weird though, dude. Like, why? How would I get it on the keyboard? I don't know. The TikTok stream test was interesting. Can you not co-stream there too? I can. I have to figure out the aspect ratio because I think as it is by default, the only way I could do it is with TikTok's tool. And that tool requires a secondary stream and a secondary instance, basically, of OBS. So I have to, like, instead of just the 6,000 kilobit a second that we're doing now to restream servers and then restream duplicates it, doing the TikTok vertical custom thing would require 12,000, basically, in order to do it, if that makes sense. So it's just more complicated. There's a lot more steps. I discovered you through your Assassin's Creed videos. Good shit, man. We're about the same age too, so I can vibe with you a little bit more. Oh, that's awesome, Pano. Did you watch the new trailer for the day before? Yeah, we did. Right before this. Man, it was pretty cringe. It was pretty bad. I mean, and they delayed it further, so I mean, what are we gonna do at this point? Well, like we'll probably try it when we when it comes out, because why not? Dead ass, bro. But yeah, I don't think anybody should be buying that. I don't think. Have you had a second run through Baldur's Gate 3? If so, what are your thoughts on the new run? I have a handful of runs going now right now because I'm trying to do like an evil run, a sort of neutral good run, and then a good run. And so like I have a bunch of different runs going all at once. It's pretty interesting that there's a lot of different layers to it. I mean, it really is a true RPG. It's wild. Are you cautiously optimistic about AC Red? Personally looking forward to the Japan setting. I am. I mean, I think the team knows what they're doing. It's going to feel very different from Mirage, of course, but yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. I would say that. Cautiously optimistic. I'm really excited for when we see actual gameplay and stuff. That'll be awesome. That'll be awesome. But what we're going to do, guys, is in 30 minutes, we're going to do the podcast with the one and only Joel Raptor. That podcast is going to be Gucci and probably run for about an hour. So, what we'll do is we will end this stream and then we will be back in half an hour to do that podcast with the one and only Joel Raptor, which will be awesome. Milan SB, watching you on all platforms because why not? He says over on Kick. That's awesome. That's how I know you're doing it, because you're on Kick. That's fantastic. Thank you, my friend. You only need to watch on one, whichever one you like most. But yeah, I mean, I think you are the first official person to actually comment on the Kick stream, which is awesome. So what I will do, guys, spoiler for topics on the podcast today, pretty standard ones. I can pull up the doc real quick that Joraptor sent. The Bungie thing, we're going to talk about that. There's a lot of detail to go into that. There is also the discussion of Capcom. They have an unannounced big release scheduled for before April 24. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about the AI with Assassin's Creed stuff because Ubisoft downsized a bunch of their teams and apparently replaced them with AI to have like Mid-Journey do all of their art for them. So we'll talk about all of that stuff. It will be a good show, probably a little more lean, a little shorter, but it'll be good. It'll be good. So Joy the Core. Oh yeah, baby. So it'll be a good time. What I will do is we'll do that. I'm trying to come up with a good intro or good outro. I don't have one. So thank you for watching. Thanks for chilling with me. We'll see you back in 27 minutes. And I don't want to smell like play Warhammer. That's a threat. I see we've come full circle. I think you do. Much love, everybody. I'll see you very, very soon. Also Twitch. Yeah, we'll co-stream on all of it. We'll just do it. We'll do it live. We'll do all of it. We'll see you in a little bit. Go take a bathroom break, eat lunch, do whatever you got to do. We'll be back. Much love. Bye-bye.